Hello, hello, hello. Let's talk about what is it? Bridgerton, right? Bridgerton just dropped. We're talking Bridgerton tonight. Um, hmm, yeah. I don't know. It's like I just finished, right? So I'm like trying to figure out like what I thought of that first episode. I was really kind of digging it up until the end, right? Like I was it was a little slow paced, but like I kind of liked that. I like kind of liked how they were getting into the characters. Um, I was really expecting it to be more go 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 because there's only 8 episodes in the season and things like that. But hold on, let me put this a little brighter. But man, um, I was really enjoying the performances. I liked. I didn't mind Allison's and Kristen Cole Bonin, whatevs. I liked all the characterization of Aegon and um, even Laurie's everything, and then the blood and cheese thing comes in the end, and I'm like, huh, that's an interesting take on the whole thing. It's an interesting take on like, and I'm not talking about just like the choices of like making it um, a a mess up that they were actually going for Aemond. I don't mean that. I mean the choice of like I was really expecting Blood and Cheese to be this really visceral, like emotional moment for Helena. And I understand that Helena is on the spectrum or something, but like I was expecting something, some sort of like eruption of emotion where we're seeing her pain. Um, Instead, we got that very weird, puzzling, awkward ending. Anyway, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I have to sit on it. We'll see what other people think here. But yeah, um, yeah. I'm still at work. Can we not talk about spoilers? LOL. Um, would Game of Thrones have been better if it had similar creators and writers as House of the Dragon? See, I'm not sure. See, it might have been better. I don't know if it would be as popular. Right? There's something I will give D&D like credit for being really masterful at pacing. And even though I really dug like this episode, I have to rethink the ending. Okay, like I'm a little caught off guard with the ending because it being so odd. But most of the episode, I was really digging it. But I think most people might view it as a little slow, and so I think D&D had better skill at pacing. I mean, obviously, like Ryan Condal and his crew are better with directing, acting, like dialogue, like across the board. Like they make a better product in that sense. But I will say that D&D had a slight talent at pacing. So I think it would be absolutely a better show, Game of Thrones, if it were done by Ron Condal. Um, I don't know if it would be as successful. Like there's something that maybe D&D might have brought that was a little more mainstream. Um, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of felt the music was gearing up for something big with Helena, and then they cut away. Weird. It was very weird. Weird. All the Starks are hot. The wall. There was some sexual tension at that wall, man. That was there was. I think we're all like Cregan Jace shippers are going, Like they cut out the Sarah Snow. They cut out all the sex with Sarah Snow, and then they're like, let's just bottle it up. Let's just streamline, combine characters. And it's Cregan. So it's like Cregan and Jace. Like sexual tension there, man. That was yeah, the sound was brutal. Yeah. That was kind of weird. That's where they're trying to get the reaction with the sound rather than through the emotion of Helena. I would have really expected them to go through the emotion um of Helena to like get the scene done. Completely ruined Blood and Cheese. Maybe. It was so weird. I mean, it was not what I was expecting like, at all. Um uh There's way too much diversity for the sake of having diversity. It looks ridiculous, especially when they have white hair. I mean, this is a world with dragons and purple eyes, dude. Like get over it. Like Jesus Christ. Oh my god, they're making Pokemon totally woke, man. They removed Ash and put in like a girl and a black kid. Man, everyone knows that only white people can capture Pokemon. Come on. Come on, it's totally woke. Pokemon Horizons, man, it's ruined. I mean, come on. Like, get over it. It's fucking fantasy. There's dragons and shit. Purple eyes and stuff. Like, come on. Come on. That was the worst way they could have possibly handled this. Um, yeah, there's certain things I understand about like it is true that it doesn't like in the original text um like a son for a son doesn't make sense because you should be going for Aemond, right? You know, like there's no that like going for Aegon's son shouldn't be it. So I can kind of get like why they wanted to put in the Aemond, but it was odd that they went full on no ambiguity with Aegon. I mean with Daemon, and then wanting to have it be a mix up where they couldn't find the right room and then taking away the Sophie's Choice. I mean, the Sophie's Choice was the whole hardest part of the decision, right? That's the thing that makes her feel guilty and suicidal, right? Um, so they are kind of taking out the most brutal aspect of Blood and Cheese. I mean, Blood and Cheese is brutal because yes, you're viewing a child killed, but then there's also the Sophie's Choice that makes it really heart wrenching. So they kind of took away so much of the strength of Blood and Cheese. Blood and Cheese was not as good as half as good as book version. I mean, it's true. I think even though I often talk trash about Fire and Blood, it is one of the more visceral, like oh my god kind of moments where you can really kind of feel the pain. It wasn't Laris. Preston lied to us. Yes. Now it's canon, man. Now it's canon. Uh, that's that's how it happens. It was totally not Laris. It was Daemon in a cloak. Daemon put on his cloak, snuck into King's Landing, all the way from, he was supposed to be at Harrenhal, but all the way snuck in. and Kristen Cole was banging Alicent at that time. The Alicent sex was pretty neat. I can't lie. I mean, why would anyone lie about that? Yeah, Bridgerton. Apparently, Bridgerton dropped. My wife tells me, she's like, you're growing up to talk about Bridgerton, yeah? And I was like, yes, absolutely. They did Blood and Cheese as best they could. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. What if this is the whole thing, right? Everyone's going to be talking about Blood and Cheese and whether they whether it could have like been better. I think they should have kept the Sophie's Choice and the reaction from Helena. They removed that to put in, kind of this bumbling dudes screaming at each other. There was what's strange is there was almost that one of the tenser moments was like the servant seeing him and him being like, it's the rats. Like that was a kind of a tense scene there, but yeah, pacing's all off. We are so freaking back. Yes. I was actually love Kristen and Allison going after it. Laris is jealous, explains why he's such a super simp. See, they could have taken Laris being jealous and like turn that into something, right? Like they could have and then got gone into the like the blood and cheese thing. Had it been more ambiguous on who hired blood and cheese rather than like Damon in a cloak. Wear a cloak. Um Laris not being cheese 0 out of 10. Yes. The castle was empty. So one of the things I thought was kind of weird is that like we established last season that Damon knows the castle really, really well. So why is he hiring a rat catcher to go in when he already knows the castle? Like, yeah, I expected more blood and cheese. Jeez. Um, Helena's reaction made sense. She was just not processing what happens. I mean, I could see that. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how people. I mean, obviously, it's a like overwhelming situation on what would happen, but like, how would one react to the whole thing? But you just imagine screaming, like you'd imagine like Cat at the red wedding, like scraping her face, kind of stuff. Um, uh, Come to Brazil so we can take a picture, man. Yeah, next time I'm in Brazil, man. It's might be a while. Might be a while. Um, she's autistic. That's why she reacted like that. I mean, I understand, but like, I mean, I know plenty of people on the spectrum. Um, they still, they still, they still scream when traumatic things happen. So I don't know. Mm, mm. That sun had two eyes. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of right. Like, what was they must have known that it was not Aemond, right? And they were just like, oh, it's a prince. I mean, they were clearly like, isn't Aemond Targaryen kind of famous? Shouldn't everyone know who Aemond is? Uh, yeah, I guess that was Hugh the Hammer, because I mean, he made a point out of saying like Hugh. You're like, okay, Hugh. I thought the same thing. I was like, Hugh the Hammer. I mean, I guess they were introducing him in some way. I mean, I guess they just thought that you can't have too many characters that are kind of all the same. Um, yeah, no Sophie's Choice, and it's true that the choice was the strength of the scene. I agree with all of that. Um, Weirdly, might have enjoyed Aegon the most. Aegon was funny this episode, right? Kind of crazy. Like, I mean, he's the scene where he's on the throne. Like one of the scenes I actually quite enjoyed is the scene on the throne where the small folk comes to him, and he's like, "Yeah, my sheep. Like you took some of my sheep," and he like gives this insane stare that's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give your sheep back." And you're like, for a second, I was just like, we're total there, like the stereotypical king in these situations is like, I'm gonna have that person's tongue out or whatever, a Joffrey moment. And for him to be like, oh no, I'm gonna give you your sheep back. Yeah. He's like, oh, but he came all this way. Can I just give it to him by himself? I was like, that is not what you expect from like crazy king, for him to be like generous. So I do like a subversion of expectations there. I did enjoy that scene quite a bit, where he's like, he's like, no, I'm gonna give him his sheep back. Like he seems to need them. And and I suppose like bringing his son to the small council meeting just to degrade Thailand was pretty funny too. And it's just chilling with his boys on the throne. I mean, why not? He was probably. I think I do enjoy. He was probably the most alive character because everybody else was so sour and serious and dour, right? And so the only thing, either they're like mourning, understandably, or they're like, this is really serious. We're at war, and we need to go to war. We need to stop people from going to war. And like, so you've got this like, we're all super serious because we're at war, or we're all super sad because people have died. And Aegon is the only one who like has any any like joy in him in this episode. So weirdly, yes, I think I did enjoy Aegon the most. He stole the show again. You're kind of right. Yeah. Um how often are those two banging? We don't know. We don't know how long they've been banging, when they started banging. Um yeah. Two Allison sex scenes, but too cowardly to give us blood and cheese. Now, to be fair, they didn't really show us very much in those Allison sex scenes either. So, um, you know, yeah, wear a cloak is definitely coming back this season. Um, they did. Blood and cheese did subvert my expectations. I suppose that's true. You know, I mean, in the same way the Last Jedi did. Um, Larius allowed it to happen. He said he replaced her household staff with trustworthy people. That servant girl could have warned Helena and alerted the guards, and she didn't. I mean, that's all true. Like, I get it. She was definitely a new servant girl. Absolutely. Like, whatever, Frida the servant girl. Um, so Frida the servant girl was definitely a Laris plant, but at the same time, it was very clear she was surprised, and she wouldn't have like. It's not like Laris could possibly give her like the warning of, "Hey, if you happen to see assassins in the Red Keep, let it happen." Like there's no way he could forewarn her of that situation. Like I understand it. Like it's good. I completely agree that Frida the servant girl was is Laris's, but like, how could he have forewarned her about about that to allow it to happen? Um, unless he has some sort of, because they went that night, right? There wasn't even like enough time for a Laurie spy to come in and then have him like brief his minions. So, um, what do you think about George is preparing an announcement at his place and having a dragon cake? Winds of Winter rumor. Yes, I've heard the story. I've heard the there. So for those that don't know, there was a leak that George had ordered a dragon cake to his property from a caterer. The thing is that like the dude is just gonna have like parties anyway, right? He's gonna have parties on the premiere. He's gonna invite his friends over to watch the premiere at his house or whatever. He's gonna have a dragon cake. So it doesn't like any sort of celebration he's gonna have a dragon cake. So it doesn't really mean much because I mean it could be his wife's birthday, dragon cake. Like father. Well, he's not a father, but like whatever. Like you know, I'm trying to remember. Let's see, when is George R's birthday? He's not born. He's not, his birthday's not until September. So I don't buy that he has a Winds of Winter announcement. I just do not. I mean, he would probably even have a dragon cake for his premiere of uh, of the new Waldrop movie that he's doing. Um, but no, like I say, he doesn't have the other. There's not the other evidence that that the end of Winds of Winter is coming. He's not posting on his blog about progress, saying it. Like him being secretive about somehow getting to the point where he's finishing the Winds of Winter, it's not how he acted before A Dance with Dragons or Feast for Crows were published. So usually when he's writing well, he's open about how he's writing well, and when he's not writing well, he's silent. Yeah, doesn't look like anybody. It doesn't look like many people like the Blood and Cheese. I don't. It seems to be pretty universal here. Making Blood and Cheese borderline incompetent was a bad choice. No. I mean, they're more than borderline incompetent. They were they were completely incompetent, and weird and all over the place. Hmm. Yeah, and also, what if Damon hadn't um come to that gate? Did he know that guy? Did we ever see that guy before? Like, how old did that guy look? Was he like 35? You know, and so, how many years has it been since Damon's been in the Kingsguard, right? I mean, in the king, not in the Kingsguard, in the City Watch, right? It's been like 20 years. Like, was that guy like more than 20 years? Was that guy like 10? Like it's already a pretty silly concept that people would be like, I understand it's from the source material. It's a pretty silly concept that the guy is like, still has a hard on for Damon after all this time. But if you're going to do that, pick an older guy, who might have actually been in the watch. They're handling Aegon pretty well. Kristen ally romance adds layers to season 1 going forward. I agree. I like the Kristen Cole, Allison romance. Plus, it's given the characters stuff to do because they don't have enough to do. So, it's definitely nice. Aegon was interesting as hell. He was. I also think I definitely liked the Daemon Rhaenys conversation at the beginning. That seemed pretty good. Maybe choose J versus J because obviously M versus J, you try to protect the heir. Since J versus J is identical, especially with Blood and Cheese hurrying, there's more relying on Helena's signal. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything interesting about the which baby you tell us, and then she points, and then they're like, she's lying. No, she's not lying. Kind of like an analysis of her, and then them killing the child. And you kind of get into that Princess Bride like switching cup thing. Like, was she telling the truth because she would assume that the other people would think she was lying in order to like have them, kill a certain person or that kind of thing going on? Like, was there next level kind of stuff going on in her head? I don't think they're going to follow up on any of that. But, for a moment you're like, where is this going? And it's not really going anywhere. And plus, like, they could have just killed both of them. Like, looking at the buffoonery. See, like the thing about the original Blood and Cheese in in Fire and Blood is it's very clear that Cheese is intentionally trying to drive Helena crazy. That is very clearly the secondary goal of his mission. These guys are just trying to kill somebody. So why? And so in that situation where they're like, oh, which one? They would have just killed both kids, right? Like they're thugs. They're children murdering thugs. Like they would have just been like, well, we don't know which is the right baby, so let's just kill both, or which is the right kid, so let's just kill both. Like the whole thing with Blood and Cheese, even letting one survive, is to make Helena go crazy, and like they're purposely trying to mess with her head. In this situation, like they could have just killed both kids, and it would have been because they're thugs and it doesn't matter, you know. Uh, so I mean, they tried to add something with that signal in there, but I just don't know. I just don't know if there's anything that interesting about it, you know. Um, but I'm really glad I didn't see a baby decapitation on Father's Day. I only had to hear it. But seriously, I think they did a good job. All right, all right. Is that did they decapitate? I thought they were like stabbing over and over again. Maybe I misheard, but it's all based on like hearing. So I thought it was like when they like Amory Lorch stabbing Rainey's kind of thing. I don't know. Um, my favorite content you ever made was the Dragon X Gene. Think about remaking that 10 years later with all new content we have available now. Um, it might be interesting. The thing is, there might be a few moments. I would have to review it, but I don't know if, like, I'm trying to think if how much to the family tree things have actually changed. Um, like definitely George added more siblings. Like that's certainly the case. You know, adding more children to Jaehaerys and such. But I don't think necessarily think that the basics of like who had kids with whom and stuff like changes too much. Maybe some stuff with Aegon the Uncrowned and stuff like that too. I have to go back. I mean, I'd have to I guess I would have to go back and see. I don't know if it would change too much because I think I did identify pretty well enough the main breeders in the line, but there might be some like extra side characters and and maybe some interesting stuff with like examining like Damon's kids, like I'm talking like Damon's twins and things like this. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, have to throw it on the pile of videos I need to make because oh my god, so busy and so many videos that I need to put together. So many things. But people have asked me to review this and try to update it. But it is a it's a video series that like the fundamental concept I'm pretty proud of. I don't know if I necessarily like made the best quality videos on that one. It was a long time ago, but it was the video series that birthed, the Daemon Targaryen theme. Um, What's up with this episode? Next week's episode preview having everybody shitting on Daemon. He's Rhaenyra's entire strength. Yeah, well, they need to somehow create conflict, and they need to somehow have Daemon be part of it. I mean, in the war, like Daemon essentially is just a soldier. I mean, in the source material, he's essentially just a soldier, like being a badass, conquering, and doing his part. I don't know if he ever does it. Like I'm just like he conquers Harrenhal, then he helps conquer King's Landing, and then he goes around and he takes out Aemond. He's not a buffoon in any sense. He's also not defiant in any sense. He's just kind of a dutiful badass who goes around conquering in the source material. But I guess they don't think that's interesting enough, so they got to make Daemon crazy. I don't even know what he was up to with his with the I with the Massaria scene. I was actually kind of confused because he's like furious with the Massaria thing, and you're like, all Massaria did was tell Otto once that Aegon was hiding in a sept. Like it's not even like the most traitorous thing. And how did Daemon even find out about it? And why would he think she was a traitor and things like that? I have to think about that again. That's really weird. I getting that wrong? Like, did did sh how did he find out about anything that she's been doing? Um, yeah. Um, the fact that she is on the spectrum should have made it so much more dramatic, especially if if they kept it a Sophie's Choice, in my opinion, at least. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see like a bubbling of emotion or something, her barely keeping it together, um, rather than it just her kind of being like beep 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 does not compute beep beep beep. Um, People always choose these acting choices of like being stoic, and it never seems to work. If you got a choice to be if you got a choice to be emotional, be emotional. That's what people are going to connect with. But did they introduce Alan of Hull in this episode? They did. Um, I think they're making it that Alan is. I mean, it's odd that they made Alan save Corliss's life, but it's very clear, like the emotional connection between Corliss and Alan, that they're making Alan Corliss's bastard. That to be revealed later, but I mean, they would have. Um, Vayman's death scene in season one establishes that Helena freezes when in stressful situations. Actress makes the same expression. I'll have to look back at that because I imagine I imagine when its head gets cut off, she's just like, probably. I guess. I mean, it is kind of two different things, though. Like Vayman losing his head is very different from like her own children being murdered and like what one does. It's just so different, so different. Um, like now that I have kids and like it's like I understand like emotional reaction to like things that happen with them and stuff like that. I just I couldn't imagine um not just being overflowing with emotion, and being nuts and being crazy in that situation. Um, you know, we're literally tracking cake orders. Yeah, yeah, I know. George, please. Um, if you're gonna kill a prince for gold, why not just kill Damon? Why is Blood so loyal to him? The Greens apparently didn't even kick him out of the City Watch. Yeah, that was a so in the source material they definitely um they go around and they interview all of the gate captains, including and the head of the City Watch, and then they replace them all. And for some reason they accidentally replace the head of the City Watch with Luther Largent, who ends up being loyal to the blacks, maybe, which is why I think maybe Luther Largent is sketchy or sus, as the kids say. Um, yeah, it is too bad. I would have if I would have made that gate guy uh older, somebody that Damon actually knew, rather than just a rando. Like he just walks up to a random gate and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm loyal to Damon." Oh yeah, and you're loyal to me, and are you willing to go kill children? Like that's two big lucky strikes that like Damon got there. Like not only did he find a gate where the guy was still loyal to him after more than 20 years, but also the dude is like totally game for killing children. Um, but yeah, why is Blood so loyal to him? The assumption is like because he like helped well funded the Gold Cloaks 20 years ago and gave them gold cloaks, and you know somehow he remembered that for so long. Um, I've mixed feels. I enjoy that they made Allison more loose. LOL makes her character more of a hypocrite. Absolutely, I think it's perfectly representative of Allison and Kristen Cole that they're fucking hypocrites. Absolutely fucking hypocrites on that front. I'm all for Allison's situation. Um, but I do wonder how far it's been going back. Um, let's see here. Aegon was trying to be a good king. Yeah, yeah. I did, Rhaenys. This is all for your fault. Yeah, it's kind of true. Kind of true. There was a little bit of yeah. I mean, they're kind of. I mean, they mentioned it last season, but it felt like lampshading. Like you could have ended this all. Any predictions on future episodes and scenes? I mean, the thing is like I can't really predict. I just kind of know what spy photos have seen and what leaks have kind of said, and then what the source material says. So there were surprise. Like I'd heard about some of these things a few days ago, but um, like about Alicent and Kristen banging and people being disappointed with blood and cheese. Like I'd heard that before. Um, so I don't know. I haven't heard any of the surprises yet with the next few episodes. Like I kind of know that like episode 4 is going to be Rick's Rest, and I know that there's going to be a riot at the funeral the for for Jaehaerys and things like this. But that's from that's from spy photos and stuff like that. So I don't know about the surprises. Like the surprises, like for instance, Alicent and Cole. That surprise only came like a few days ago with various leaks. So there's stuff you can kind of learn from spy photos, and then there's stuff that like comes from leaks later. So um, inconceivable, it was the wrong baby. You know, now that you're mentioning this, because the kids look the same, like they could just claim that like this whole they could dress up Jaehaerys, like let's say they accidentally did kill Jaehaera. Would they be smart enough to dress up Jaehaerys as Jaehaera for the rest of the war? You know, is that going to be a plot that they could go with later on? That Jaehaerys is still alive in the show, and that Jaehaera was the one that was killed. Um, hmm, hmm. I thought blood and cheese were going to sneak underneath the floor. It's true that like the beast beneath the boards has to be only a reference to Rhaenys Kool-Aid Manning in episode 9, and no longer can be blood and cheese. When had people have that line, people are like, "Oh, are they talking about blood and cheese?" And you're like, "No, no." And actually, what's funny is that like all the rat spying that happened in season 1, like I thought that was like going to be some references to Laris, but here you have the rat catcher, and it's nothing. It's um Damon said son for a son. He well, we'll see. It's going to be a son. The thing is, in the source material, we don't know what Damon actually said. It's so everything is rumor and hearsay um, from sources that we can't trust. Laris was warging into the dog. Yes, yes. Um, hire 2 thugs to kill the king's brother. Boom, boom. Wear a cloak. Have to remix. Wear a cloak. But man, wear a cloak. Do I have wear a cloak around here? I have to get. Let me see if I can find. Damon wear a cloak? I'd have to open it up. I don't have it on hand fast. Damn. Sorry, guys, if you're looking for Wear a Cloak. The great pop hit of Wear a Cloak. Oh, no, I do have it. Here we go. Wear a cloak. 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 Yeah, that's the wear a cloak. 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 Good old wear a cloak. There we go. Wear a cloak. It goes back here. This is these horrible things where I'm trying to undo my media here. Wear a cloak. Wear a cloak. Okay, there we go. Oh God. Oh God. David really thought those two could kill Aemon. Yeah, you're kind of right. That like that would just. I mean, no, yeah, you're completely like okay, like blood. That would be like okay. The rat catcher has no military training at all, so blood like cheese barely counts. So like sending blood in to kill Aemon. I mean, even though it's ridiculous because Aemon only has one eye, but like Aemon is supposed to be like this incredibly like good swordsman. You just send in like one random guard that you have no idea about his fighting ability. Like, is he any good? Like, yeah, he's in the City Watch. I'm sure he's got some fighting ability, but like Aemon's a knight. You know, like he does is train. Like that's all he does. He's idle rich. Okay. This is the big thing about like knights, you know, and like why they're good. It's because they were idle rich. It's like who can luge, you know? Like being a knight is a lot like luging, right? Like, yeah, maybe all of us could luge. Maybe all of us could be Olympic lugers, but not all of us have the money and resources to spend all day like getting in our luge and practicing how to be like an Olympic level luger. Like there's a level of like wealth that you need in order to get good at something. You know, you need to be idle rich. Aemon is idle rich. And so he's able to be a knight and able to train every day, all day. Like even the guy in the City Watch, he's got to do rounds. He's got a job. He's got work, you know? Rat catcher's catching rats. Yeah, no, you're completely right that like that was really stupid. Like why would you send in and plus like Damon knows the secret passages himself. Like he should just wear a cloak, go in, kill Aemon himself. He actually has the skill to kill Aemon himself because he's an idle rich knight with a Valyrian steel sword. Ah, yeah. Larius is jealous of Cole fucking Alicent. Do you think Larius could smell it? He just like figures it out. I mean, clearly he like brings it up because like a handmaid saw already. Like handmaid was already peeking. So he's like, "Oh, you were predisposed." It's like, no, the handmaid like she like went into the walls or whatever, listened to the door. She totally yeah. You're right. Larius definitely knows like 100% that they're banging, but um Preston is racist against autistic people. No, no, no. No, no. I mean, everybody tells me I'm autistic, so I don't know. Am I racist against myself? People would say that. People would say that I'm racist against myself on many things. Um, what? I can't imagine autistic emotions, period cramps, or pregnancy pain, so they don't exist? What? When did I say this? What? What are these? What are these strange quotes? I can't imagine period cramps. Do you think I? Do you think I don't know? Do you think I haven't? I don't have a sister or a wife? Like, do you think? do you, pregnancy pain? Do you think I wasn't right there next to my wife? Um, who names blood and cheese? Did they even say? Did they say blood and cheese? I have to rewatch the episode. I don't even know if they said blood and cheese. Oh, I think Miss Saria pointed them in Blood's direction. And probably like cheese's. I guess. I guess, her spies are like, oh, this one guy, this one gate. He totally like stands for you. Maybe. I suppose you could, yeah. I suppose you could somehow work that out. Um, Cheese was the rat keeper. Blood was the violent psychopath. Here they made Blood slightly less crazy than Cheese. I mean, they both in the end. Um, Incompetence bro targeting Eamon is way more competent than an innocent child. Taking Vagar off the board is just logical. I mean, it's true. Like, and that's kind of the thing. Like, if we're really talking about Daemon trying to win the war, like, wouldn't he like go through the secret passages himself, find Aemond, kill Aemond himself? Like, doesn't that just seem more like show Daemon? I mean, this is kind of the big thing about why a lot of like why Tyrion dismisses Jaime as a murderer, as someone that could send the cat's paw. Is he says, oh, Jaime would never send someone to do his own killing. Like, is Daemon the type to send someone else to do his killing? Um, like in the body swap, he went and killed the dude himself. With his wife, he went and killed his wife himself. Um, we've already established Daemon as a dude who does it himself. So it's kind of weird that like when Daemon is the one that knows the Red Keep and all the secret passages, that he wouldn't go in himself and try to kill Aemond. Considering that he is the only one really with the skill and ability to do it. Like those, and once he takes out Aemond, he takes out the dragon. It's a really bad plan. Now that we're talking this through, this is a really bad plan. Blood and Cheese was a really, really bad plan. To hire some fuckalls to try to take out like a deadly knight? Like a famously deadly knight? Um, so Daron and Maelor both cut now. I don't know if Maelor exists in the show. I don't know. And I don't know. We still don't know if Daron exists in the show. He doesn't seem to exist. It's Maelor. I don't think there was any scenes with Maelor. Let me check on that again. Let's see. Maelor Targaryen show. He has not appeared in House of the Dragon or the official guide, but he's included in the opening credits as a circle. Um, and he's given a six fingered hand. Really? I, I don't know how that was. Anyone could have spotted that with the circle. What do people think about the opening? Like, I understand that like it was nowhere to go but up with with the previous opening, but like I don't think like I don't know if the opening like told me any information. You know, like you kind of want an opening to like educate, like with Game of Thrones at least, like the opening to educate you at the same time. But um, seems Dario Farrell is check semi Sophie. Scroll back. It's better than semi Sophie. Dario Farrell. I'm not sure what where I'm supposed to go. Jofo. I'll look for a previous one from you. Oh, oh. Who's Dario for like what's the Dario Farrell? Is it supposed to be the, like Serial Farrell and Dario the same character? Um Looking at this has confused me. D&D are idiots, but they would have handled Blood and Cheese better. It would have definitely been more violent. I'll say that about D&D. D&D did not shy away from any violence. I think both the Red Catcher and the City Watch guy knew the worm. I guess that had to be. It's the only thing that makes sense that he would find them so quickly. If in that. Oh, thoughts on the disparity between Haiti and Dominican Republic? Interesting one. By the way, I'm moving to Dominican Republic come October, but the difference is mainly an issue of corruption. Um, Having been to both countries, you just it's. I mean, there's also some bad luck with a lot of earthquakes with Haiti, but for the most part, like yeah, the corruption in Haiti is horrible, and so much money is stolen, and they can't get proper infrastructure built. The people themselves, are just incredibly hardworking and motivated, and just you go there and it's just everybody is like out and about doing stuff. It's but it's just the corruption on the high levels. I think people always ask this question like, why the disparity? Why the huge disparity? Well, I mean, it's just it's corruption, and obviously there's some history that leads to why there's more corruption in Haiti than the Dominican Republic, but that's the main thing. Um, will they do the King Aemond plot? I hope so. That's the most interesting thing, right? Because once Aegon is out of the picture and Aemond takes the mantle, it gets very interesting at that point. And I think they seeded that in season 1. So, and we see him sitting down with Cole and being an analytical guy. So I think it's definitely heading that way. I'd be very disappointed if they didn't do the King Aemond period and like really focus on like Aemond being, you know, in control and motivated and everything. I would hate if they didn't do that. But we'll see. We'll see. Do you think we'll ever see Helena ride Dreamfire? I thought that, by the way, when they're doing their small council analysis, like, I like how Dreamfire is never part of the fucking analysis. They're like, well, what do we do? Well, we can't send Aegon out to take. They're like, oh, we need a foothold in the Riverlands. Okay, I'll drive my dragon to do the foothold. And you're like, well, you can't go. You're king, and we can't send Vagar because Vagar's guarding King's Landing. Okay. That's all of our dragons, apparently. like Dreamfire. Who the hell is Dreamfire? Only the second oldest dragon. Like, no one can be like, well, why don't we send Dreamfire out? Or Dreamfire's here to defend the city. Or I think we can handle defending the city with both Dreamfire and Sunfire. Maybe we can send no, but it's never even mentioned. It's like Dreamfire doesn't even exist. Like, because in the source material, Dreamfire is taken out because of the Blood and Cheese incident. Like, she's neutralized and goes nuts and is unable to function as a dragon rider because of Blood and Cheese. But here they're doing full analysis, like full war analysis, and as if Dreamfire is not a thing. Like, why even have her? Why even have the dragon? Why even like have Helena be a dragon rider? It's so I mean, I guess we saw her ride to and fro the funeral, but that's about it. Oh, the closed captioning says cheese coughs. Huh. Interesting. Subtitles say blood and cheese. Okay, I did not know that. They should have high-fived after decapitating the baby. Said, "Great job, cheese. Thanks, blood." You like the Cole and Alicent relationship? I do. I think it adds to things being interesting. I mean, I think that this was all seeded and makes sense. Like, Alicent, we know that Alicent is a fucking hypocrite. We know that Kristen Cole is a fucking hypocrite. They're both hot. Of course, they should totally be banging. And like, they did seed like that Alicent was into him in the first season. Even with the cut scenes, there are some looks here and there. I think there's an inside the episode right after that kind of focuses on that too. I think it makes sense a lot. Plus, like I say, like, you got to give Alicent something. The show is about Rhaenyra and Alicent, and in the source material, Rhaenyra and Alicent don't do anything. So you have to have them doing something. You have to give them some screen time. Kristen Cole also is not. I mean, he's going to eventually go to war, but we got to give him something. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It makes it. Plus, like, I've heard a lot of people like bash Rhaenyra for putting Kristen Cole in an awkward position because he's a Kingsguard and it was her fault. And it's like, well, now it's all evened up because Alicent did the same thing again, but it, yeah. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I like it. I like that part. I was digging the episode. I think I was digging the episode until the blood and cheese. I think I think I think somehow that, and you're going to end there. They ended the episode on that. So it's just kind of weird. Tyland was awesome. I mean, I thought his acting was great, like in dealing with the kid and like how one deals with the prince without insulting the king. But yeah, I thought Tyland did a great job in that. I really liked the new opening. It was much better than the last one. Yeah, it was very pretty. It actually was very reminiscent of the Wheel of Time opening. Wheel of Time opening is also like animated threads going through a tapestry, and it's very similar. But this, except this actually has like pictures being drawn. I thought the pictures were gonna like show something. Like, I mean, more recognizable, more family tree something. I mean, you could kind of get some of the events that they were drawing and everything, but maybe they'll do one every season or something like that. But Um, too much CGI. Went too quickly. It did go too quickly. The CGI was um, CGI in the original was also kind of weird. I mean, it's funny because the original Game of Thrones was more block cartoonish. We kind of like tolerate the CGI there. You went to Haiti pre-earthquake or post? I went post one of the earthquakes. I went to like their like completely shattered huge cathedral. They might have had another one, but yeah, I went post one earthquake. Um, and it was you know, they it was a very weird place, like going into Port-au-Prince and it being like really dark at night, but because it's so crowded, it's actually kind of safe walking around. There was a lot of kindness from people where I was expecting people to like totally um, be asking for a handout or something, but they were just like, "Oh, where's your hotel?" And we're like, "Oh, we're going to this hotel." He's like, "Let me walk you." And then this old guy, just walks us, and he's like, "Okay, bye." And you're like, "Huh?" Like you expect the guy to be like asking for a handout. No, he was just being nice. A lot of weird stuff, a lot of interesting stuff like that. Um, though in Jacques Mel, we tried to like rent a room from a small bed and breakfast kind of place, and like they just blasted music like downstairs, like really loud, like to the point where it's like shaking like shaking the house. And we just went down, we're like, can you turn that down? And he's like, no. And we're like, okay, we're leaving, please give us our money back. Like a lot of weird things happened. But it was pretty nice, just kind of walking around and having people just being like, wow, it's so great that you're here, and being friendly. I mean, I liked it a lot, but it was a funny place, Haiti. And um, yes, Dreamfire, very strong dragon. Let's forget it exists. Because isn't Dreamfire? I mean, Dreamfire is the second oldest dragon after Vagar. Like Dreamfire should theoretically even be larger than Caraxes and Melis, but um, like one should think it would just be there, but um, Magor, isn't their kid in the nursery smaller than Jaharis? Uh, See, we don't know if like we don't know what happened if Malor is in the story or not, or if he's in a different nursery. Um, I'm surprised there wouldn't be another worker in the nursery too. Things like that. Um, isn't it an American trope of the hypocritical critical anti-sex American evangelical? Yeah, I mean it's not just the trope. It's just like it seems to happen all over the place. Like it's always the person like railing the loudest against like homosexuals who's actually a closet homosexual. It's always the person railing against infidelity who's actually cheating on their spouse. It's always the case. It's like it's just the kind of the case in life too. Like it's projection, right? The people that rail against something are the ones that are secretly doing it, because they're obsessed with it. um let's see. Allison finally got to be on top. Yeah. Hello. Hey, how's it going? let me um let me let me add a uh, a box for you. How you
Oh,
been?
thank you. I've been good. I've been good. I thought I'd call in.
Did
Happy
you fit
Father's
it?
Day.
Thank you. It was pretty good, pretty good. Did you finish the episode?
I did. I just finished the episode. Um, Oh boy, I think they botched it. To be honest, I
that's
think they
what
botched
that's
Blood and
what
Cheese.
at first, when I started this stream, because it was right after, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it, but the chat has completely convinced me that that was really really botched, you know. Um so now going through it all, I'm just like, yeah, yeah, they really messed up. Um oh, I don't know. I mean, what did you think? Like, what's your opinion on like like first of all, Damon's plan? do you think Damon? Do you think Damon Targaryen, rather than just go when he knows the tunnels himself, would go in and hire a rat catcher and a member of
Rando Goldcloak.
Rando Goldcloak to take on Aemond, who is a deadly fighter, and we just send him in rather than just fucking going in himself, like ending
Right.
the war.
I, I like it doesn't make it, and like also like the possibility that it's not just Aemon, but like his guards and stuff. Like it, the plan makes no sense. The plan makes
Yes,
no
you're
sense,
right. Like
and
two dudes,
he
like
literally got the first gold cloak he saw too. It's like yes, you.
yes, yes, yes. Like you've sailed. I don't know. Did he fly? Did he sail? You sailed all the way to King's Landing, and you picked the first gold cloak that you saw, and then got to the rat catcher. And then, I mean, conceivably, somebody was like, maybe Massaria like sent him to this particular dude. She's like, I've been doing some spying, and there's this one guy who fucking loves you, man. He fucking he stands for you. He's watched all your videos, bro. He's watched everything, right? He like knows the Dornish master plan inside and out. He fucking loves you. Or, I'm sorry, it'd be a Damon thing, right? So he so you go to him and you're like, okay, yeah, dude, you can take on Aemond, Aemond One Eye with the rat catcher.
With another random guy,
With
with another
another
random guy
random
who's never
guy.
met Ben.
Right. We're gonna give you some money, and rather than like turning like reporting me or turning me in or whatever, or like saying like the plan, like you're gonna go in and like murder some children. First dude that I met. Oh, fuck.
And then like I was a little unsure, like even cheese like starts like arguing with him. He's like, I didn't like because he gets him to the he's like, we're not allowed up on the royal apartments, right? And he's like,
Yeah.
you go up there, blood. Like it's like they didn't even have like a well thought out plan before even showing up. Like
They're really kind of like goofballs. And then I was saying like going in, I don't know about Helena's performance. Everybody's been saying like, well, she's autistic and therefore like she's allowed to act however she wants to act because and we can't say anything about it or something. But I was expecting like a big emotional scene that would be like
yeah.
heart wrenching, and instead, it was, I don't know, she was frozen. But then, like they're debating, there's this weird debate over which child is which, and it's like, just kill both. Like, just kill both, dude. You're like you're kid murderers at this point. Like, what's two kids? Like, just kill both. Like, there's no like, oh, what do we do? We'll never know. Like, just stab both. Like the original Blood and Cheese was like this psychological thing where they want to drive Helena crazy, so they're giving her a Sophie's choice. But in this situation,
Right.
they're just baffled. They're like, we don't know which is the right prince. Well, yeah, just stab them both.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because yeah, I was talking to my mom. Like I watched it with my mom. My mom didn't like it that much.
Mm.
Like she was also like that could have been so much more powerful and impactful, and it just doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of the performance of Helena,
Mm-hmm.
just how they decided to do it. Like it was. I don't know. You're like the book. Like I don't know. In the book, like it's a you understand the horror of that as like a mother and like how
Oh yeah.
damaging that is and how scary that would be.
Right.
And I just don't know if the performance of Helena did that justice, like, did the situation justice.
Yeah.
And then also, like, how they created the situation was, like, messy. Like, in the book, you're like, "Oh my gosh," like, "You have to make this decision or we're gonna kill all 3 of the kids and do horrible stuff." And then, like, "Oh, you picked one? We're gonna choose one that's not that kid." Like, it's so, so dark. It's, like, incredibly dark,
Yeah.
and I don't know, they kinda, like, I don't know, botched it. Like, they didn't they made it
Right.
less dark.
They really sat there and they were like, "Well, that's too dark." And you're like, "Really? Like too dark for Game of Thrones? Like really? Like clearly they didn't want to go as far as the source material. They didn't want to give her a Sophie's Choice. Considering
Mm.
there was a movie called Sophie's Choice that was about like that, and the whole point of the movie and the why people remember the movie, besides it having perhaps the greatest living actress alive, like in it's like Meryl Streep, like yeah. Well, now we know the Helena actress is no Meryl Streep. That's what we know.
It's weird. It's weird to take such a really powerful, memorable, dark thing in the book and to, I don't know, to make it forgettable, like kind of forgettable. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
It's
the only
weird. Like
thing
they
they
had it
could
handed to them.
yeah,
They had
it was
handed to
handed
them,
to
and
him. It's
they
one of the few things where like George was actually handing them, designing them a scene that was going to be memorable and crazy. And then
and
they're
like the
like,
mom like begging and you kill me instead, like that kind of stuff. Like you,
yeah.
I don't know.
Or just, had they had like her walking and giving her a moment where she's just losing it while like walking with the other kid, like being like,
Hmm.
something. And
Yeah,
then the only thing they can do with it is like make it weird by throwing in that she walks in on her mom banging Kristen Cole, which,
they're those 2 are horny as hell this season.
I know,
Like,
man.
because I saw, like, in the, look forward in the season, they're having sex again. Like, they do
Nice.
not care that a war is going on. Nice.
Nice. I mean, how old's Kristen Cole at this point? It's hard
He's
to
got gray
really.
hair, right?
I mean, he doesn't age, right? Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's got to be like in his early 20s when he like banged Rhaenyra, right? And
Yeah.
so it's been 25 years, so he should be like in his late 40s. Eh,
I was, by the way, this is a funny little thing. I was watching the scene with Aemond doing like the battle plans in like
Yeah,
his
yeah.
his bedroom or whatever, and we didn't. Me and my mom didn't recognize Kristen Cole because I guess we hadn't seen him with his armor off or something. And my mom was like, "Is Aemond gay? Is this his like lover?" Because we didn't recognize. We were like, "Who is this character?" And then I was like, "Oh, that's Kristen Cole."
What did By the way, what did you think about the opening scene like with Jace and Cregan? Did you think that was sexually charged?
I wanted it to be. And everybody's been joking about it because that's like what was in the trailers, where he like looks at him and he like smiles. He's like,
Right,
what does he
everyone was
say? Like, at
making
least
the
you're not
jokes, and
threatening me
then
with your
like you
dragon.
see the scene, and it's actually even more than that. You're like, oh man. Though I didn't think that. I mean, it's whatever. But the source material was like, I need to keep our men home because they all need to like take in their last harvest kind of bullshit. This was like, I
Mm.
can't send you men because they have to go to the wall. And I'm like, how many fucking people are you sending to the wall, Cregan Stark? Are you
They have to go
sending
to the wall and then
20,000 people to the fucking wall? Like, what? Like,
and there's nothing going on. There's no king beyond the wall or anything. It's not like an
right?
emergency
Like,
situation.
how many people do you? Because I mean, there's like in the contemporary story, there's like what, like a few hundred people at the wall. Like I think it's like 600 or something. Like you need to send 20,000 people to the wall. That's your
They should have
excuse.
They should have had them be gay, like, because like in
Oh
the
my-
story, right? Like they gotta have a reason for, because
yeah.
like I don't know, Cregan Stark sucks. You've talked about this before.
Cregan
Like
Stark totally sucks. He totally
he
sucks.
shows up after everything's over, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm so loyal," and stuff. Oh, they should have had
Yeah.
them just be gay, just to give him something to give. Yeah, because he just was. My mom was like, "Oh, that's a Kit Harington," because she heard his voice. She's like, "They brought back Jon Snow for this." I was like, "No, that's not him. It's just a guy doing like an impression of Kit Harington."
My mother became a huge Game of Thrones fan because I was doing it, but she could not tell any characters apart. Like she
Yes.
literally could not tell the difference between Theon and Ramsay, like on screen. And and I'm like, it's really significant that you know the difference between Ramsay and Theon, but like she could not, like, she's like, wait, which one is that one? Because I mean, it was definitely hard in like season one when it's like Rob and Jon Snow and Theon, and she's like, they're all introduced in the same scene with their shirts off, and she
The
doesn't know
beefcake
which is
scene.
which.
Oh man.
Oh, but man, I mean, other than that, I mean, I was enjoying the episode until Blood and Cheese. It
Yeah,
was still
yeah.
okay, still okay.
The humor kind of actually worked for me, like with Aegon on the throne. He's like, "Can we just get this guy, like him his sheep? Like, don't tell anybody." It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
funny.
no. Everybody was saying he really was a scene stealer. He was funny as hell. Like, cause you expect him to be psycho. Like, oh man, you just asked the king for your sheep back. Oh crap. And he's like, oh yeah, no, let's get this guy's sheep back. He'll need those sheep. Like give him his goats. Oh, I'm sorry. The scene was, I'll need you need your goats back. And he's like, well, actually, they're sheep. Even better. And it's like, what? Like,
Because I didn't like that character. I didn't like Aegon last season. They made him likable. They made him kind of likable this
well, I
season.
mean,
It's funny to see like a good king in Westeros,
he was into
like
raping
a
women
decent.
and child fights, so he's not
Ooh,
exactly
ooh.
likable.
You're right. You're right. He was supporting children with filed teeth fights, like right, like
Yes,
uh,
or at least
baby biter.
according to the Kingsguard, Eric and Arik. Maybe they're making that shit up. I don't know.
Eric and Ark. They're really hyping up Eric and Ark. Like they had
Oh
him
my
in
god,
like
they're giving him
the
so much screen time, Eric and Arik. I mean, I
and she's
think
in.
it's either next episode or the episode after is going to be the Eric Arik fight. I mean, it's coming, and
Oh
then
boy,
they'll be done.
George has
Did,
been hyping this up since Game of Thrones. Like we're
did
finally gonna see
did
it.
you ever hear about the Eric Arik Lucerys confusion first season?
No, what's that? No.
It's quite funny. So the so first season they were filming with like um uh they were filming with like COVID precautions, right? And they were scared of COVID precaution, like COVID breaking out. And so at some point, um, oh my god, I've got to get the names right because it starts getting confusing here because it's like one of the actors that's named. Yeah, that's it. So at some point during it, so what the actor that plays Luke was named Elliot Grillhalt, and the actor that plays Eric was Elliot Tittensor, and so at one point Elliot Tittensor, the actor that played Eric, got COVID, and so everybody goes in and they're like, oh no, Elliot has COVID, and the whole everyone's like, oh my god, like no, like the actor that plays Luke has COVID, um, and everybody's like freaking out, but oh my god, and then this is where it gets really confusing. The guy that plays Arik is named Luke. Okay, this is
Okay.
like just to put that in perspective. Okay, Elliot plays Luke, but the actors that play Eric and Arik are Elliot and Luke.
That is insane.
Right.
Why?
So like,
Why? Why?
so like, so he went in and they're like, oh no, like Elliot, Elliot has COVID, and they're like, oh no, and they're like, and then they're like, oh my god, I can't believe Luke, because then they used to call the characters by their names, so they're like, oh my god, I can't believe that Luke has COVID, and they're like, but Luke didn't have COVID, like Elliot had COVID, and so anyway, because one of the twins got COVID, the other twin actually plays both twins in a few of the scenes
Oh.
in first season. So it,
Okay.
but it was just like hilarious, like mix up where they're like, who has COVID? Like, because Elliot is the name of the guy that plays Luke, but Elliot and Luke are the actors that play Eric and Arik.
That is so goofy. That is
I
some
know.
goofy shit right there.
That was really fucking weird.
Wait. You were talking about what's his name? What's his name? Oh gosh, Cregan and what's the other guy? Jace.
Yeah.
It isn't a little silly that Jace went all they took that long several week journey to go all the way to the wall just to hang out there. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that does. I mean, unless like Cregan got on the dragon back with him, and he like held him behind, and they like rode. But I mean,
You're
that's the
giving more
only
for the fan
explanation, right?
fiction.
Like,
The
are you really,
shippers.
or are you just
That's really
like,
cute.
did he land and then he's like, let's go to the wall, and it's a 3 week journey. Like, let's just go. You want me to take 3 weeks to go to the wall? Yes. Like, I, I are you sure you don't want to just get on the back of my dragon? You can hold my waist and we can go.
I like that idea. I like that
Yeah, I
idea
think
where
that
they're like,
makes more sense
you can ride
timeline
on
wise.
my
That
dragon, Cregan.
Cregan got on the back of of the dragon with Chase, and they flew to the wall. That makes a lot
You
more
could be the
sense.
first Stark dragon rider. Would you like that, Cregan? Like I'm just thinking of like the steamy conversation they could have.
I'm thinking more of like Top Gun with like Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise on the back of his motorcycle with like "Take my breath away," but it's like the same thing with like Cregan on the back of Chase.
Somebody says we see Jace arrive at the wall on foot. So he left his fucking dragon in Winterfell? Like what? Why?
That makes it even worse because now he's got to do
That
three
makes no
weeks there and
sense.
3 weeks back, and that's six
Yeah,
weeks.
that makes no sense. I guess like the assumption is that in the show, like the distance between the wall and Winterfell is like a week or something, or like a couple days. Like I think that's the
Yeah,
idea.
I mean, that's the thing is even if it's a week, it's an unnecessary
It's too
delay,
long.
right?
Yeah, because they're at war.
Yeah. Plus, like the Raven only just arrives when they get to the wall,
Oh
right?
yeah, that makes no sense.
Right.
That makes no sense. There's a long, proud history of homoeroticism at the wall. I'm surprised there's not more gay characters at the wall, you know? Like,
I mean, everyone at
you
the wall
think
should be, you know, this is why they're so welcoming of satin. They're like, well, I mean, we don't have many other choices up here. So
we got Moles Town.
we got moles
People in
down.
Moles Town. Kind of gross. Kind of ugly. Like,
Thailand a
oh
pony
boy.
equals Tyrek a horse. It's true that Thailand, that would have been a funny scene. They should have really had the kid get on his back and had him ride around a little bit. That would have been fun.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
And so is that there's so many twins in this show. Is that guy played by the same actor, or did they get twin actors for those two characters too? Because there's
He
Thailand
plays the
and
same. No, he plays the same. It's one actor for him for Thailand and Jason, who is the same
yeah.
actor that played Sir Hugh in the original Game of Thrones series.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. There's four sets of twins in the story. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Y'all
Oh,
need to
it's
shut the fuck up.
Carmine.
You're ruining the episode for me with this bullshit dragon distance for the wall shit. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? You didn't like blood and cheese, really?
I don't know. But yeah, no, I was saying that there's 4 sets of twins in the story. There's Eric and Arik, there's Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, there's Tyland and Jason, and there's Rhaena and Bela.
That's too much. That's too much.
Is Rhaena and Bela even?
That's
are
too
they
many
even twins in the
twins.
show?
What's
are
this?
they twins in the show?
A lot of twins. A lot of twins in House of the Dragon.
Weird.
I mean, it's like a fucking soap opera.
I don't think people are talking about how Cregan walked to the wall. Or wait, Cregan was at the wall and Luke flew to meet him there. Really?
Like he arrived at Winterfell and everyone's like, Cregan just happens to be at the wall. Oh, really? Okay. I guess I'll go to the wall. What's he doing there? Chilling. What? Why is the Lord of Winterfell at the wall? 'Cause.
Isn't the rule that there should always be a Stark in Winterfell? Unless he has like an uncle or something.
Yeah, that's kind of true. But maybe he's got a kid. Does he have a kid? Check my family tree. I mean, clearly they just wanted the scene, but like,
yeah.
Cregan has a kid named Rickon. Born, and I mean, I guess he would have a baby. There would be a baby Rickon. He'd be like 1-year-old. So he's like, Stark and Winterfell, we got a toddler. Let's go to the wall.
Oh, okay. I need to go back and watch the first season of Game of Thrones to see how, in the show at least, how far apart the wall is from Winterfell, because it has to be at least like a week, right?
In the book, in the book, it's 3-week journey. But I'm trying to remember, like, it's at least. I mean, it's, you know, they at least do one overnight because there's at least the conversation between Tyrion and Jon like that night. So it's at least a 2-day journey.
Let's see. See, it's showing me the book stuff. I know the book. It's Stannis.
Well, let's see. It takes Bran like half a season, or it takes Bran a season to like walk there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
the real answer is you're not supposed to think about it, but it's. I've just found a chart that's like the Game of Thrones characters travel insanely far in the show, and I'm just looking at the Yara one where she like circumnavigates.
Oh my
Westeros.
God. Oh my God, for her shirtless battle with Ramsay, and then goes home immediately. All worth it. All worth it for that. So where's my Bridgerton review? Get on that. So I think, yeah. So Carmine, did you hear that Bridgerton was released on the same day?
Wasn't Bridgerton released a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago? I don't keep up with Bridgerton. Definitely not for me. Bridgerton seems like your alley. Have you seen Bridgerton, Trey?
Yeah, no, you're right. It was. You're right. I'm sorry. It was released on the 13th. It was.
How do I know more about this than you do?
How do you know more about Bridgerton?
I've never seen it. Never seen it, but I know about it.
I've seen the first season of Bridgerton. It's all right. It's all right. It's good. It's good. I'll say it's good.
My wife's a big fan. My wife's a big fan of Bridgerton. She likes it. She actually even like watched it, read the book, then read all the books because she liked the show. Yeah.
Dang.
I know.
Does she have any theories about like which
Does
Bridgerton
she have any
cast
theory
secretly
crafting?
wrote the Bridgerton letter?
Theory-
Like, I would like to
is
see
there-
this YouTube video.
Is there Bridgerton theory crafting? I don't think it's a show like that. I don't think. Sorry, meant the early nursery before the small council. Is there was there a scene where they go to the nursery before the small council scene?
Yeah, it's when Aegon's looking for Jaehaerys. He's like looking for him. He's like, "Where's Jaehaerys?" And he's like, "He's in the library."
Oh yeah, I do
doing
remember
something.
that.
So it's kind of I was trying to figure out what they meant by that, like why he was, because
Yeah,
she's like, you can't
he
disturb
shouldn't. His
him or something.
routine, like what's his routine? Like what? Dropped plot. You're like, okay.
Dropped plot.
So he goes in. He's looking around. There's two people helping in the room.
There's the girl with the really strong eyebrows.
Yeah,
She
the
looks
Frida. Yeah.
What do you call her? Because she looked like Billie Eilish to me.
Frida.
You've never
she looked
seen
like
what Billie
Poor
Eilish
Things.
looks like?
She looked
Frida-
like what's her name in Poor Things?
Frida
Emma Stone in Poor
Kahlo.
Things.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah, I know Frida Kahlo, the artist.
yes. Carmine. The thing, Carmine doesn't know anything about Latin America, so
What
Frida.
the fuck? That does not
you
look like
recognize
that
this?
woman at all. She looks like Billie Eilish. You're both out of your mind.
I think she looks like Emma Stone from Poor Things. I think she looks like, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Yeah. She just was the eyebrow. She was like super distinctive, and they had to show up twice with Blood and Cheese. Is that dog gonna come back? Cheese's nice little pet dog.
Somebody said that he kicked the dog at some point.
Yeah, he did.
I have to check that out. Oh my gosh, there's so much in this episode. Oh,
And for that, he needs to die a terrible death. I fully sign off on that. Fuck that.
Yeah, they didn't do the Laries or thing like with.
Yeah. Well,
they probably weren't.
They just like disappointing me. They like removing everything interesting, and making it rather than interesting, just really weird and convoluted with a Daemon cloak. Like this might as well be this is like the pattern. Like, oh, there's this really interesting moment in the book where what actually happens is kind of ambiguous. I wonder which way they're going to go with it. Put Daemon in a cloak and fucking just like mayhem. Like that's their interpretation of every fucking moment. Is to throw Daemon in a cloak and have it be mayhem. Well, which story? We've got this story of like, are they having sex lessons on rocks? Or what's going on? Well, no, Daemon in a fucking cloak and then there's a goddamn orgy. Like what? And we see some butts and like what? There's this mystery of when Laenor gets murdered and who does it? Oh man, Daemon in a cloak. He kills somebody, he burns their body. There's a body swap. It's fucking crazy. Like.
God, you're right. He is wearing a cloak a lot. He is wearing a cloak. He wears a cloak more than the faceless man too.
Oh my god. Yeah, but isn't there? So this is the thing: is they were asking, wasn't there a kid in the nursery smaller than Jaehaerys in the earlier small council scene? I think that was Jaehaera the first time he goes in.
I think it was Jaehaera.
And
I didn't see Maelor.
Yeah, I think Maelor has been cut from the show.
Maelor has been most likely cut. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see any Maelor in the show, and I think
I'm still holding out for Daeron. He's coming.
Still holding out. I mean, at this point, it would just seem so tacked on. Like, wait, there's another kid? Yeah, totally, and another dragon that no one's fucking talked about. You know.
He was having a study abroad. He totally has no idea what's going on. He has no opinion on what's going on.
I mean, this would be like Chuck Cunningham like coming back, you know, like in like in like season 10 of Happy Days, you know, it's just not going to happen. I mean, except they've never established.
That's weird. We're cutting out, so that means we're cutting out Bitterbridge with Maylor being gone, and a
Yeah.
lot of the Daron stuff, like the Caltrop or Cal whatever that whole plot was. We're cutting out a lot, but it's weird. Why would you cut out a lot when you want to stretch this out into 4 seasons or whatever, however many seasons they want to do?
Daron is not completely cut. The Allison actress mentions there's a Daron during like one of her interviews, so he's not completely cut. He's there, so maybe they might mention him in season 2. Trey, did you like the episode?
This is weird. I liked parts of the episode. Like I was very, very let down with Blood and Cheese. I think they kind of botched it.
Really?
But I think the strongest part of the episode, the best part of the episode, is the scene with Jace and Rhaenyra, where they just like break down crying. Like he comes in and he starts like giving her the good news, and like I don't know, just the performance of the actors is just great.
Oh yeah, no, I mean Emma Darcy really did a great job. Like, you know, even when she like finds the remains of Arax and like on the beach, and when she comes back and talks to Jace, and like those are really strong performances. Again, I think the actor that plays Aegon was funny. I was very pro this episode. I loved it. I even liked like the scenes where Alicent and Otto were like scheming together. I thought they're very well done, and
oh yeah.
I even like, you know, Alicent at the Sept. I thought it was a very powerful scene. Her like, you know, lighting candles. Things were going so well. They were going so well up until the end. It's kind of like episode 9, right? Like you're like, oh, I'm really digging this episode. I'm really digging this episode, and then they just fuck it up at the end.
What happened at the end of episode 9? I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's the fucking that's breaking
Kool-Aid
out of the.
That's Kool-Aid Dragon.
That's cool. Yeah,
Kool-Aid Dragon.
That did suck. That did suck. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I like having I could start listing, like I'll have to come up with a good name for this one, because all the weird things that like that screwed up season 1, you know, you kind of have a name for. Like God Mode Damon is just like, we all know what we're talking about when we say God Mode Damon, or like Kool-Aid Dragon, I think is like, you know, everyone knows now of like what it is. I got to come up with a good name for like Kristen Cole giving a beatdown to Joffrey Lonmouth, and like what that would be about, you know, like how that just screws up everything. Rando Goldcloak sounds like a cool name, to be honest. Yeah, I've already used like Randar Velaryon, like whenever they like when Lena comes out and she's like standing next to some dude, and like, who's that guy? Well, it's Randar Velaryon, you know. Never comes back again, but he was there. Oh
no, but I'm with you. I totally agree. The Otto actor is like fantastic. Alicent's actor, like I just like that. You're right, that scene where they're scheming together, and he like comes in, and he just like is like so like tired of Aegon that he like puts his book down and like just drinks some wine. Like it's like totally just done through body language. He does a really good job. There's some good stuff in this.
People didn't light torches indoors. Don't like that trope. Huh. I mean, they don't have like wall sconces and stuff like that for torches. I don't know.
They saying in real life?
I don't know. I don't know any. I don't know the history of torches and sconces and.
Like I know because I'm like more ancient history. I know Romans had like lamps, like clay lamps that had like a little flame in the front. They need some stuff to light their house, but maybe
Yeah, I
like
mean,
torches.
generally speaking, I mean, I get that, like, generally speaking, like, before the advent of the electric light bulb, when things got dark, people just went to fucking bed. Like,
Yeah,
people didn't, like, you can see these scenes where they're in some room and there's honestly like 100 fucking candles lit, and you're like, where are you getting all this beeswax from? And like spending the time to light all these candles, and like, and even all those candles, you're not even getting that much light, you know. Um, so
yeah,
generally speaking, in olden times, when it got dark, everyone's just like, ah, it's fucking bedtime, you know, and you just went to sleep because there was just nothing to do. So you know,
yeah,
I do get that, like how heavy the world of fantasy is with torches is definitely not that realistic, because that's just a lot of effort that you have to make into making all these torches and getting all this oil and
yeah.
stuff like that. Um, in fact, you know the phrase, the trimming the wicks, trimming one's wicks.
I
You might
don't
have
know that
heard
phrase.
You may have heard it in the Johnny Cash song. He talks about the virgins are trimming their wicks.
Oh,
And anyway, for like lantern maintenance, if you trim a wick, the the um the flame burns more efficiently. And so it was like a very big deal that you had to go around like trimming wicks so that like the oil would burn more efficiently. You know, so like people were thinking about this, and it became a phrase, like, to be efficient
huh.
is like to trim a wick. You know, when he says like the virgins are trimming their wicks, it means like they're going out and they're like finding husbands and like doing their, like, being efficient with their life, like, um but people worried, like, oil and wax and things like this were hard to come by. So you're
Mm.
just not like lighting rooms with 100 candles for shits and giggles. Like, it's like, you know, this is for important stuff, not just like
Yeah.
chilling. And yeah, but
You like use it where like it's needed, like
yeah,
directly in front of you, probably. Yeah,
right.
instead of like laying
Otherwise, it's
up on
just
your
like, hey,
corner.
it's bedtime. Okay, like.
Yeah.
They also say that, like, in olden times, because everyone was going to bed so early, because everybody just went to bed when it got dark, people would wake up in the middle of the night, and there was like a very common, like, people would have like hours to themselves for like just contemplative thought by themselves. Like, this was like a regular part of human existence, like waking up in the
Huh.
middle of the night and being like, huh, I just got like an hour or two, and they'd walk around, think, look up at the sky, and then go back to bed. Like, this was like a very big thing that we humans now don't have, because
Yeah.
we don't get enough sleep. But it's, you know, or couples would, I think couples had sex too a lot. Like, middle of the night, you wake up and, you know, everybody else is asleep. Let's have sex. That was like a,
Huh.
yeah. Uh, let's see. So Carmine, you were you liked the whole episode. You were totally into blood and cheese.
It was fine. Did we always expect Blood and Cheese from the books to be like these super like proficient killers and assassins, and not just two dudes stumbling in there?
Yeah.
I expected them to be I don't know, just based on how they're depicted, it's like it's like an assassin, and it's like it's so I don't know, sinister and planned out to be like as psychologically damaging as possible. I don't know. Like they're like
Hmm.
it doesn't just feel like just some random people. It's like people who were in there to be like do as much damage as possible and like psychologically. Yeah, I don't know. That was the thing that I didn't like.
Yeah.
They removed that bit.
As an autistic person, Helena's reactions seemed very real. A lot of times I find emotions extremely difficult to process and often don't process them until many days later. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like something I don't really have that much like knowledge or information on. I mean, you know, I know autistic people, but, you know, who knows what level, you know, we're talking about, or what style. It's not actually level. When people talk about spectrum, I understand that it's not like intensity. It's like spectrum in the sense that it can be many, many different types, um, and shades, but also like also looking at it from the perspective of you don't necessarily know what your own face looks like during these emotional like situations. Like you could maybe perceive yourself as not being able to process the emotion, but your face might be emoting. You don't necessarily know. So I don't
Mm.
know. I don't necessarily think it was maybe a good choice in the first place to make Helena so autistic that she wouldn't be emoting.
Yeah.
Considering the scene, like, we want the emotion.
Yeah, it's like what would make a more impactful scene, I don't know, to most people, and I think like yeah, like it's a different like choice, creative choice for them to do, and I don't know if it made an impact. It definitely didn't make an impact on my mom as much as I think a
Yeah.
differently played scene would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, why did Cregan say Aegon the First and Torrin met at the wall? Didn't they meet at the Inn of the Kneeling Man? Yes, they did. But I suppose it's never established, in the show, like where they met. So they're just changing the location. But yes, Aegon the First and Torrin did, of course, meet at the Inn of the Kneeling Man. Kind of the whole point of the Inn of the Kneeling Man is that's where he knelt.
Well, and it
Unless,
was like that he was like about to go to war, and and he had his like armies about to like invade like the southern parts of the kingdoms, right? And he like
yeah,
he changed his mind upon seeing the dragons. I don't know why he
yes.
would be at the wall. Why was he? Why the hell would they meet at the wall?
Well, they've changed the Inn of the Kneeling Man's location to Molestown. So Torrin and Aegon, he knelt, and then they went to Molestown for for a good time. That's how it happened. That's
Did you talk about like how that dude's accent was he doing? Is that his normal voice, or was he doing like a Ned Stark impression? Because I could not take him seriously at
he
all.
was trying to
Me neither.
he was doing an honorable Stark stereotype impression.
Holy
You know,
shit! I could not get into that. I hope he drops that. It's unfortunately he's the new Masarian. That accent is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like it really Masarian improved, and this motherfucker comes in and is like, hold my beer. Like he came in here just to fuck. Whatever. Honestly, like I'm surprised you guys are that
I
bummed
don't
out
want it.
about Blood and Cheese. I'm truly surprised because I didn't think it was that bad. But I'm seeing here motherfuckers are like, bring Dave and Dan back. I'm like, whoa, we're at that point already? Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Are
I
we
think it was
really at
just
that
hyped
point?
so much that it's this huge emotional, gut wrenching scene, and
Yeah.
we got a bunch of like goofballs messing something up, and then a robot. Like that's what people were kind of messed like, you know.
Well,
They're
this person here, Thomas, says my friend who didn't read the books and watch with me was shocked. So it worked well enough for general audiences. Which, yes, House of the Dragon has some Easter eggs in there for book fans, but for the most part, it is for general audiences.
But
They
the thing
were
is I don't know. I can do like an anecdotal account too, and my mom's also not a book fan and knows nothing about this, and it didn't leave an impression on her, or it wasn't as impactful. And she was like, "Why was?" Then she was like actively being like, "Why is the mother reacting the way that she does?" Like she was kind of more confused, and it didn't
does
have
your
the
mom
emotional weight or
does your
impact.
mom know that
So
Helena is not just quirky? That Helena has like autism and like dragon dreams and
yeah,
all that.
yeah, I
Does your
think she was
mom?
more like I don't know, didn't agree with like the creative decision of how they handled it or something like that. Um,
yeah.
I don't
I
know,
mean, earlier in the
people can
episode,
say
they established
anecdotally,
her being weird. So she
yeah,
would have gotten that. They have the reminder scene of Aegon coming in and being like, "Yeah, where's Jaehaerys?" And she's like, "Do not mess up his schedule." You know,
What the hell was that?
beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
By the way, I was tweeting
yeah.
about this. You know who? It's a fucking shame that Rainey's, they saved all her fucking best lines for this one episode because she was on point. The actress was great. Her delivery was great. She was on point with everything she said. Yet all the shit that, all the whole like, there's no war more hateful than the one between kin. They saved all that bullshit for the trailer, but they really should have given us in the trailer Rainey's lines from this episode. They were on point. She was great, even though she appears for like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Fucking twisted.
It's funny because in the trailer, they're like, you know, everybody was analyzing the whole, like, we're going to King's Landing. And it was like, yeah, no, they're not. It was like, he ordered her to do something, and she's like, no, we're going to King's Landing. Nah. Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the books, it seems to me that every great house has at least one vassal who are as the Darrys are to the Targaryens. Although House Darry are technically Tully vassals, but you get what I mean. So this idea that there's like somebody that's super loyal to the Starks would be like the Manderleys or something, or somebody that's going to be super loyal to. I mean, I can't think of too many others. When I'm like, who's super loyal to the Baratheons? Nobody. Who's super loyal to the Tyrells? Nobody. Who's, you know, I don't know. Who's super loyal to the Aarons?
Preston, do we know who is Leon Estermont, like a super important guy during the dance?
Estermont?
Leon Estermont, because did you watch it with subtitles? I always watch it with subtitles.
Oh, is he one of like Aegon's friends? Oh, yeah, he's like one of them. Because I was curious who Aegon's friends would be.
Let's see here. Well, so let me check out
show
House
only.
Estermont. No, there's no Estermonts that appear in the source material during the Dance of the Dragons. So he is a show only creation. Good old Leon Estermont. So
the Estermonts are getting some recognition.
I did think it was kind of funny when he's like Aegon the Magnanimous, and he's just kind of like I was like, that's how you treat the king. He's just like, whatevs. Like,
Carmine, did you get any of the other names of his friends?
No, they didn't show up in the subtitles. I always have to watch with subtitles. No offense, British people. You guys, sometimes I can't understand the fucking things you guys say. It's no offense. Even though I've been watching Game of Thrones for like 10 years.
I'm sure a lot of people say that about you, Carmine.
I'm sure they do. But in my defense, I act like an asshole on purpose. So British people have no excuse.
You don't think British people act like assholes on purpose?
I don't know. I can't tell. That accent, I can't tell if they're being serious or not. That's the point. Never mind. Get out of here.
I mean, the accent, they do. It turns out, you know, they put on that accent intentionally. Like,
to bother me, of course.
The real British accent is actually something completely different that none of us know, because they all put it on a fake British accent to make themselves seem snooty. British people actually sound like French people when they're not putting on their accent.
Oui.
Can we not call autistic people robots? I get that you didn't like the choice. I really do, but we can't. But can we now, please? Here's the thing. Is we're not taught. First of all, it's fan headcanon that she's autistic. Okay, all right. We're throwing this term. Okay, the fandom is throwing that term on her. Okay, so me saying that like she's acting weird and odd and aemotional is not any sort of like comment about real autism. Which, by the way, people that have real autism, they act in a million different ways. So you can't even stereotype them. like one way or the other.
Hmm.
So when I say that like Helena is acting weird and acting like a robot, I have no idea if that's supposed to be autism. I understand that the fan community is claiming this, and everybody's saying like, oh, she's coded and this, and they're like, no, like they're just making her weird. Okay, like so it's. So like me saying that Helena is acting weird is not me making any sort of statement about autistic people, which, as I say, I have people in my family, I have people that I'm friends with that are on the spectrum. Okay. So like, please don't get bent out of shape that the fandom has like pushed this idea onto Helena. And then when we make a comment about Helena, all of a sudden I'm bashing autistic people, because that's not the fucking case. Okay. You know, it's
Preston.
like
Preston is not
all of a sudden I
bashing
can't, like, no one can criticize the performance of fucking Helena or anything Helena does or the actress that plays Helena because it's been decided by the fandom that she's autistic. That's ridiculous. Okay, there's nothing in the show that says she's autistic. I think it was just a poor choice to make her weird and emotional when you're talking about a gut-wrenching scene that we're supposed to feel emotional about.
Hmm.
That's true. And yeah, Preston is not like anti-autistic. He knows lots of autistic people. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, people call me autistic all the time. I don't
know. Yes, they do. By the way, real quick, I actually wanted to touch on this briefly. So your Bookborn collab video was out. Trey, did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Would you like it?
Yeah, it was good. You guys had a cool conversation.
You know what I liked even more than the whole video?
What?
The new people who don't know who Preston is coming into the comment section going, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck is this guy with these theories? Like, and I love the comments going, because apparently during the video, Preston, I don't remember you saying this, but apparently Preston goes, yeah, some people in the community think, and the comments are like, some people in the community, Preston, it's you. You're the only one who thinks this. I love those fucking comments.
It's probably those. There's probably people in that. I didn't read the comments, but there's probably people, because there's. I know that there's like sort of Game of Thrones fans or whatever, or Song of Ice and Fire fans who like never like to criticize George, or at least like make poke fun at his writing and I don't know, retcons and stuff like that. So it's like probably a shock to some people to hear somebody be like, "Yeah, George didn't know what he was doing there." Like, because some people treat George like he's uncriticizable, you know, like God. Yeah. Well, no, he's a human, and we like him. And just because you criticize him or make fun of him doesn't mean you don't like appreciate his work and don't think he's very good writer and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to know if you got.
I know what you mean. Like, they treat George like he's one of the God hand. I know. Yeah. No. Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. There were a few of those. Who is this arrogant prick who thinks he can talk about George R. Martin? You're like, I don't know, dude. No, nothing. I got one funny comment that I had to respond to, which was, I swear to God, and it was so funny because it's like, I think he doesn't know very much about the Pink Letter. He should really check out this video by In Deep Geek on the Pink Letter. And I was like, oh. I just responded like, really? You don't think I know about the fucking Pink Letter? Like,
please send me that comment. Please find me that comment. Someone in my Discord, find me that fucking comment.
He actually apologized for it. Was like, sorry, I didn't mean to sound mean. I just, but I just thought it was just so funny where I'm just like, oh my God, really? Like, it'd be like someone telling me like, Preston, have you thought that maybe the Dornish have a big plan? You know, like, really, you're telling me about this? There's this. Oh God. How could the show make her more obviously autistic? The word autistic doesn't exist. Renly isn't gay. He just loves sucking Loris's cock. No, here's the thing: there is a million things. There's a million different, social mental conditions that exist besides autism. Okay, I understand that like autism is where society is very focused on it right now. It is, and everybody, but there's a million fucking things. Let's say we rewrote everything and be like, well, Viserys and Daenerys, Viserys was clearly autistic, and he clearly had Asperger's. So let's reinterpret the entire story with like Viserys like having Asperger's, and like, well, we can't say anything bad about Viserys anymore because he had Asperger's syndrome. You're like, well, did he? like I understand that the fandom can make a decision on that, but like there can be a million things, So I don't know.
And I think me and you were criticizing it more that like we would have thought it would have been a more powerful or resonant scene, like if they did a different creative decision there. Like, I don't know, they played the character of oh gosh, I forgot her name.
Helena.
Helena differently. I don't know.
Yeah.
For the scene that we had envisioned, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's true. Like, I suppose like you could look at it the other way, like, because they're the ones that say she is 100% autistic, and that's the writer's intent. Like, well, why did you do that? Why did you make that choice in the first place, knowing that everything was going to lead up to that scene where she needs to have a big emotional like scene? Like, why make the character that if later on things are going to be different?
Yeah,
it's like say I'm trying to think of like trying to think of a good analogy of it, because like I don't know, Carmine, really iconic moment of a movie that really you remember. Anything iconic scene from Godfather.
I'll make him an offer he can't refuse.
Okay. All right. Or I know, like, same thing. Okay. Take the end of Godfather 2, where Fredo is like emotionally like telling Michael, like nervously, anxiously about like the entire plan. And he's sitting in that chair being like, well, the thing is, and he's like squirming around. Okay. And you just like feel all the emotion of Fredo in Godfather 2 because he's so nervous and he's and he's finally revealing to his brother that he was behind all of this. And there's just you can like feel the sweat on him. Like, what if we made him autistic and he's just sitting there like sitting there without emotion, like repeating everything? It wouldn't have been a great scene, like you wouldn't have felt the emotion that Fredo felt. But that would have been like the choice that they'd made. Like, oh, they made Fredo autistic. Well, why? When you're going to have an emotional scene later.
That's kind of a bad example. By the way, Trey, I tagged you in Discord. Go check it out. Yeah. By the way, that's a bad example because Fredo in the Godfather book, he had pneumonia when he was a kid, so when he's an infant. So it alludes that he's not right. He's not really all there. That's a bad example.
Yeah, and every Targaryen is inbred, and this is the whole thing, like about them not being all there. Like the thing is, like, I don't even know if she's coded autistic. Like the Targaryens are supposed to be insane. I think she might just be insane. Like, I would like to see an interview first where someone's like, why, yes, we did choose to make like Helena on the spectrum. Like, did they? Or is everybody reading into it? But even if they did, I think it's a bad choice to do that. Anyway, now people are going to be like, fuck, Preston hates all autistic people. That's
Somebody just said, I just got back. People. Why does Preston hate gay autistic people?
that's it.
By the way, I see it here, Preston. Someone found it real quick. Love you. He goes, you explained the theory of why Mance wrote the pink letter wrong. Watch In Deep Geek for the actual theory. It makes sense. And then Preston replies, really, bro? Really? You're telling me that I don't understand a pink letter? Really? And the guy replies, I just feel that the reasoning for it being Mance could be explained in a way that makes more sense. Apology for framing it rudely. Oh, okay.
It's not that I have a whole video series on it. Like it's not that they like from fucking 10 years ago. Um, that's not what I was saying at all. I'm just objecting to the terms. I think you're a good guy who didn't mean it, but it rankles, Um, I don't know. I don't know what what terms when we say like somebody acts like a robot, it means that they're not showing emotion. That's what I'm saying. And so in the moment is not Helena like not showing emotion. Um, you know, that's what it is. I don't that there's nothing of me being like, calling autistic people robots. Like um one has to actively like choose that Helena is autistic and believes that she's autistic, and that's you know the lack of emotion was that um and that somehow I knew that and was making that sort of like comment, like, you know it's just Hodor autistic confirmed. That's the thing, is I just don't know, um AHC. Um, Alicent and Kristen Cole is fine, but her missing blood and cheese and being walked. Well, that's the thing, is in the source material, Alicent was also at the blood and cheese incident, and so she, by the time in the source material, by the time Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, um, and later on, Alicent survives. Like Alicent goes nuts near the end. So she has to go through a lot of different experiences that eventually drive her nuts. They'll probably be enough, but blood and cheese was definitely one of the huge ones. But yeah, is a meh choice for male female. Being walked in on is a meh choice for the main female character. But that's the thing, is now she's walked in on somebody that is not going to tell anything, so it's like not much of it's not much of a reveal. Had she been walked in on by like Aemond, that would be a much more interesting scene. Right, like how would have Aemond would have dealt with that one?
Do Carmine? I was you usually know this stuff. Do you know who's playing Dalton Greyjoy, or if that's even going to be a
I don't
cast
think we're
character?
gonna get a chance to see Dalton Greyjoy. I do like that they mentioned Dalton Greyjoy. It's Ryan Condal
Yeah.
feeding us book fans a little something extra on the side, and the fact that they
Oh,
mentioned the Greyjoys. Thank Christ, they mentioned the Greyjoys, but no fucking Tyrells. Whatever.
so do you think they're not going to show up? Like
I don't
that's
think the
just kind of
Greyjoys
like
are.
a
No, they're not gonna show up. I think they are. I'll put
damn.
money on that. You want to put money on that? $5.
I get, like, I don't know, they're cutting so much out of the Dance of the Dragons. Like they cut
I mean, I
out
don't think they're cutting
Bitterbridge
it out.
and
I think they're
Daeron.
stretching it out. Like I think they're saving Daron,
Okay.
like full blown Daron for season 3, because we already saw Hugh Hammer in the first opening scene with the petitions. So
Or
Did
at least
he?
some guy
Oh,
named Hugh.
that's
Who's a Smith.
110% Hugh Hammer.
Or who's
That's
a Smith.
110% Hugh Hammer. Did he need to have a gigantic anime sized hammer for you to go? That's Hugh Hammer.
Well, obviously it's Hugh Hammer, but like he's a Smith and his name is Hugh. I mean, of course it's Hugh Hammer, but
But I think they're saving like the Dragon Seed stuff for season 3, and then Daron comes in as well because Rhaenyra has most of them on her side, all of them on her side, and then obviously they switch sides, and then yeah, so Daron, I think he's coming season 3. We'll see.
that's so weird though that like nobody mentions him unless they mention him like if they don't mention him this season, then they're like totally not
So
gonna bring
someone
him in.
corrected me in my comment section because I said that Damon, when he was listing off all the dragons in the season 1 finale, um, he didn't mention Daron. He did. He actually did mention Daron. I think he said they have 3. They have 4. So Helena's Dreamfire, Aemon's Vagar, Sunfire for Aegon, and What's Daron's Silverwing? Fucking what's
Uh,
Daron's?
Daron.
it's Thai. Uh,
Oh,
uh,
Taraxes. Is it Taraxes?
That's it. I don't. It's
yeah.
not like smog or some shit. Like it's something like that. Who cares? But like no, Damon mentioned they have four dragons. So Daron's one.
Daron Daring. Who's his dragon? It is Tessarion. Sorry, it's
Discern.
There it is.
Tessarion.
I was close. I was literally right there. So
Lysa has schizophrenia, and nobody likes Lysa. Um, well, now now it's this odd thing of like, doesn't everyone is there discrimination in media for people that have different mental conditions? Well, yeah, of course there is. Like um, I'm sure, like going back, like I'm sure in 50 years we'll look back on our entertainment and our treatment of things and be like, oh, everyone was so so cruel to these people, and we'll readjust, or at least like why things are like villainized and stuff like that. So like Silence of the Lambs, people have a real um tough time with that movie now.
Yeah.
Even though in the original source material of that of the original book of Silence of the Lambs, the the they 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 actually focus on the fact that like that crime rate in the trans community is actually lower than in the non-trans community, and like they get blamed for all of this stuff, and they try to make it out that Buffalo Bill is not a real trans person, that he's like a fake trans person, that he's
Mm.
he's he's doing it for other weird reasons, and the author goes out of his way to try to say that he's not actually trans because he felt that his book was targeting trans people too much. The movie, it it it's not quite as explicit as the book, as in trying to protect the trans community. And so then, you know, I think people look back at now at Silence of the Lambs as, even though Silence of the Lambs is a fucking incredible movie, but I think today people see it as a problematic movie.
Mm.
But I think probably in 50 years we're going to look back at all of our entertainment and be like, oh, that's problematic. That's problematic that you made this person that was schizophrenic, or this person that was bipolar, or this person that was autistic a villain, or I'm sure that'll happen. But yeah. Um, hmm. I formally request a dramatic reading of Blood and Cheese scenes in honor of Preston's What You're Missing series with illustrations and all. That's gonna be a long a long
It's
thing.
gonna get demonetized right
That's
there.
true.
How they handled it in the show, where so Helena walks out, but like the sound, you hear the sounds of Blood and Cheese over Jahari's, and it's like really the sound choice was
okay,
weird. I was
so
like,
okay, let me ask you a question. What do you think
Yeah.
they were doing? Just like stabbing the kid, or
I thought they were
I
repeatedly
kind of
stabbing him.
so that's not what I heard. So from my 5.1 surround super duper audio, what I heard was they were like trying to cut off his head. That's what I heard.
oh
That's why I'm saying it was like a bit more brutal, because I also noticed other people saying that too, and other people disputing that. Because I'm going back to the episode right now on the high seas. I'm gonna grab some clips here, and actually, the only reason I was downloading this was to compare it to Billie Eilish. That maid looks like Billie Eilish. I'm sorry, bro, she does. I'm gonna put the pictures side by side.
I mean, I think she looked like Frida, but we'll
Who the
see.
fuck is Frida? What the hell
I
is that?
fuck what I brought up the fucking
Frida
picture.
Kahlo.
I know, I saw, but like, no, like not Frida. All right, this chick is like skinny Billie Eilish. Hold on, let me
I mean,
put the pictures side by
there was an
side.
entire movie with Selma Hayek with on Frida. Frida was a painter, Mexican painter, man.
Okay. Why'd you bring up the Mexican part?
I bring it up to shame you because you're Latin American, and anytime you don't know
She
everything
shows
about
up.
Latin American history, and you get shamed every time.
Look at this.
She's
Well, let me
in
send this to you
Coco.
on.
She
Let me
shows
send
up
this
in
to you on
Coco.
Facebook. I also found it so weird,
Oh.
like when Blood is like trying to do the thing, put the thing down, and she's looking at him, and he looks back, and she's gone. Like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Did they really need to do that trope where you look at someone across the street and they smile at you, and then a car passes by and they're gone? Did we really need that fucking trope? It's such a weird trope with this maid, but
It is a weird
okay.
trope. It is.
I sent it to you on Facebook, like what Billie Eilish looks like and what this woman looks like.
You got their pictures side by side already.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sailing this high seas to get this episode. Got to get them clips. Got to prepare.
Okay, first of all, like, all right. I mean, you're like I've sent you the brightest picture of Billie Eilish and the darkest picture of the fucking.
Hey, first off, it being dark, I actually brightened it up. I actually brightened up the scene.
Now, first of all, I think that I am going to be able to put on.
They literally got the
Thomas, you're right. She looks like Emma Stone in Poor Things. Pull up Emma Stone.
She does look like
Poor
Emma Stone in
Things.
Poor Things.
Have you guys, Press, you saw Poor Things?
No, but I've seen Emma Stone, like her portrayal.
Okay, no, you know what? Trey's right. She looks like Emma Stone in Poor Things. No, he got me. I've seen that movie. So you saw Poor Things as well, right, Trey?
Yeah, Poor Things is great.
Dude, back me up on this. Like, I can never watch Emma Stone in another sex
You don't think
scene
she looks like Frida right there? She's got the same hairstyle, got the same eyebrows. I think I've totally got Frida here. Come on, come on. I mean, granted,
I can see
granted,
it.
Granted, Billie Eilish has the same hair here too. I mean, I'll grant that. But...
bring up Emma Stone and Poor Things.
Yeah, bring up Poor Things. Let's get a collage going here.
Well, fuck you, Mike. I am. How about that? I am blind. I wear glasses. This is correct.
All right. Let's
they look
see
nothing
here.
alike. Man, how dare you?
Try to get the best one of Emma Stone.
But no, Trey, like seriously though, Emma Stone, and like, why does she even take that role? Literally half her scenes are her like being abused by other guys, and sometimes she's enjoying it. It's ridiculous. I can never see her do anything sexual ever again. I just can't. Yep, there it is. Yeah, there it is. She's Emma Stone. Okay. Yeah, can't believe they got Emma Stone to play the maid.
That'd be great. Oh god.
I mean, this is quite a collection of pictures here.
By the way, did you notice how they kind of like gave a fuck you to what's that motherfucker's name? The second showrunner from season 1. He didn't come back for season 2 because they wouldn't let his wife get writing credits. You know what I'm talking about? His wife was like,
oh really?
Tala. Yeah, I think they did a fuck you to her because I guess she was the White Worm's spy in the Red Keep, and Laris is like, they no longer breathe our air. Like, oh, it's kind of like a fuck you to them.
But also with this crew, what do you guys think of? What do you think of this?
Is that Ramsey's girlfriend?
Yeah, Miranda. First off,
Miranda.
No, you don't think.
Why'd you bring up Miranda? That's so random.
You don't think it's I mean, you know, there she doesn't quite have the eyebrows, but like, you know, there's some similarities. I
follow her on Instagram. She's so gorgeous. She plays the main character in The Spanish Princess, which is also a television show. I think you would like, Trey.
Okay. Sorry, I've been looking at Jace Cregan, ex-Cregan fan art. Or
you would, you son of a bitch.
Is it already out? The Jace Cregan fan art?
Oh, and like there's like I found like this Reddit post, and it's like somebody making a collage of like the actors like offset hanging out together, like being at the
wow, this is really fucking how is this so fast that everyone's doing this like Jace Cregan
Preston, how can you say that? Like literally
somebody
the hour Trey showed his face for the first time, someone already drew fan art of him. Trey, remember that?
Oh yeah. It was like the same day. Yeah, people were quick. Some people like they love it. They just that's how they Trey is busy. Well, and people are like pulling out like textual evidence, like they're highlighting Fire and Blood. Cregan and Jace took a liking to each other. The they drank together, hunted together, trained together, and swore an oath. So you were like,
when you say it like that, okay, like
I know.
convince
Some of
me when you
this,
say it
some
like
of this
that.
stuff is ridiculous. Like, look at this. Like, this is like Jace and Cregan, but with Cregan has like wolf ears. I don't even understand this.
What the fuck?
Oh God. So maybe the effect of seeing visions sucks the emotions that one would normally have in a given scene. This is about Helena. It's true. We have no like somehow the um the the visions thing is that's the thing is the visions thing is supposed to be the thing making her crazy, right? Which doesn't really fit with the whole autism theory. Right? It's supposed to be that she's riddled with a bunch of freaking weird visions. Um, Autistic people don't get visions, as far as I know.
As far as I know.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Anybody that's like, I'm autistic and I do get visions of the future, I will say I'm wrong. I'm sorry, guys. But the closed caption said that there was a flesh cutting, with bones crunching.
Yeah, like cutting this fucking kid's head off. I guess to take it to
As, like,
Damon.
proof?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess that's what they
like,
said. Yeah, that they.
It's
Because
just so
remember,
much
Damon's
more
like
work to
half
like
a-
get through the bone with your rusty dirk or whatever you're doing. That's just
Well, remember, Damon. By the way, Damon sending. I don't know if you guys already touched on this. Damon sending these two fuckheads to kill Aemon of all
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Like, bro, something tells me Damon didn't want these assholes to succeed. I think Damon wanted like the idea that the Greens can be killed at any point in time because Damon knows a guy who knows a guy. But like Aemond of all people who can like fight Kristen Cole to possibly a standstill, maybe like is gonna get got by these guys. No.
it's a really bad
By
play.
a rat catcher that presumably has no training, and then random gold cloaks guy. Yeah, look, it was a good plan.
PK Ziggy makes a good point. Assassinate.
The dog was gonna help.
Yeah.
The dog
Like,
was gonna
look.
help, right?
Ugh, I hate him kicking the dog. I hate that so much. He needs to die a horrible death. I hope that was CGI. Jesus Christ. But no, like
It's here. I'm
whatever.
autistic. I can see the future. Yes. Okay. It's here.
Wait. Let's get something out of him. Who's like the next president? When does Wins come out? Like,
Oh, there it is.
It's gotta be all like cryptic though. It's gotta be like, fear the orangutan. You're like, oh no, what does that mean? Fuck.
Oh.
Time traveling autistic Targaryen warg fetus. I mean, Aemond wouldn't necessarily have a weapon with him in bed. Aemond seems like the type of guy who sleeps with his fucking sword.
Maybe if they caught Aemond unaware while he's on the privy, he's like Tywin, I guess. No, he would have a sword. He would be able to.
Yeah,
he'd fight. He'd be able to
one
fight.
thing that is stupid is that they walk by Aegon and all these other guards, and no, okay, they're rat catchers, fine, but like, fuck, man, I wouldn't have written it like that. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. That
like
part is
have them like Varys in the wall, like pop up in that room, right? Like I don't know, like what Tyrion did, where he like pulled the wall, spun around and stuff like that. You don't have him like walking in the Red Keep, just in the middle of the hall.
I just would have had the whole thing different, where like you're in the scene with Helena and she's taking care of the kids, and then you do a pan, and then you reveal that there's like a man behind her or like in the corner, and you're like, "Dong," see, he's in the room, and then you're like, oh God, you get that like jump scare. And then she turns around, and then he's like in her face, being like, you've got to choose, and then she's like going nuts, like could have done so much more with it, but instead, bumbling idiots. Abbott and Costello going to kill kids.
this tweet. Helena running onto Allison's room to see her mom fucking with Cole. Poor girl didn't get traumatized once but twice. Jesus.
Let me hold on a second. I was saying, somebody wrote something. I was like, did George already make a comment? No. I don't think George could be. This is one of those things where I'm like, I'm sure George would be like, oh, I wrote this better.
You think so? I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't think it was that bad.
He's too nice. I don't
He's
think
too nice to
he'll
say
ever
anything. You're right. He would never
Yeah.
say it. Is George a crybaby? He said this moment was the saddest he's ever watched. As insensitive as it sounds, nothing of this blood and cheese scene was close to as brutal as the book. It was absolutely not as brutal as the book.
Yeah.
The book was. I mean,
okay, we gotta go back to the book for the podcast. We gotta go back to the book and go back to this because I don't think it was like I thought it was pretty brutal, not amazingly brutal, like Red Wedding level brutal, but it was up there. Like, you guys really did not like it? Fuck.
Well, sorry. I mean, this is just one of those things. Like I talk a lot of trash about the source material, but this was like one of the golden, like gut wrenching scenes of the source material, and somehow they screwed it up. This was one where like
hyped it up so much that nothing they could have ever done would have satisfied you.
I don't know about that. I just think if it was done a little different.
Yeah, they should have had like the baby, because the babies weren't awake. The children weren't awake for most of it, so they
you could have had
like babies.
You could have had crying kids.
Tension.
You could have had crying.
Tension gets hyped up.
You could have just like the viciousness and the creepiness of cheese is like gone.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm just saying, you take a regular horror movie, like something with Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy. And
you mean like Halloween 3?
Halloween 3. First, did you watch that scene?
I did watch
Silver
that scene.
Shamrock?
Yeah, when you talked about it. Recount it to Trey in case, because I don't think Trey
I know.
watched that one.
I remember this.
Have you seen
I know
it?
Silver Shamrock.
Yeah.
It has like the flashing little pumpkin.
Now watch the flashing shamrock. 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
And like, isn't it like in the masks they have like a piece of like Stonehenge or something? Like, isn't that movie just like
yeah?
off the walls?
Each mask is like a tiny little piece of Stonehenge. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a crazy movie. I mean, it's like a conspiracy of robots too. Like, it's really weird. I mean, it's.
See, you bring that up, and that scene, I never would have expected that blood and cheese to be less memorable than the Silver Shamrock. That sticks out in my head. I'll remember that for years, and I don't know if I'll remember this version of Blood and Cheese.
No. It could have been. Yeah, it's. I mean, if it's supposed to be Red Wedding-esque, right? Like, think about Red Wedding or Purple Wedding, and like how like you're in Joffrey's face and with Cersei, or you're with Rob, and you're with Catelyn, and like that's what carries the scene, right? And here we see it's a sleeping kid that dies, so that's taken away. So there's no Joffrey and there's no Rob, and then the mother has no emotional reaction to it. So, yeah. I think that's I think that the thing is to compare it to those two scenes. like red wedding and purple wedding and say, oh, does it measure up?
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it would ever top the Red Wedding because we don't have that connection to the Greens like we do to Rob and even Callan and to Lisa and all those people. Like it's not. It was never gonna like match up. But
No, that's fair. Fair point.
You're
I
right.
mean,
Yeah. We could I'm holding out for what's the Battle of the Gullet? That's gonna be the next Red Wedding right there. We're gonna be like, whoa.
I don't think we're getting Gullet Battle in this. I don't think we
What?
are. They got to save something for season 3. They got
What
to
are we
save
getting? We're
something.
getting Rook's Rest or something? What are we
We're
getting?
getting Rook's West, and allegedly there's not a leak or anything, so this is rumor. Allegedly, there's like a big fight at the end of this season to take King's Landing. So we'll see what happens with that.
Oh.
hmm
Oh.
Because in the books, there was no fight to take King's Landing. Rhaenyra and Daemon just circle around the Red Keep and then just fly down and take it. Right, Preston?
Say that again.
I said that Halloween 3 is possibly one of the best Halloween films of all time.
I mean, besides there's really only one good Halloween movie, and it's entitled Halloween. The other ones, like every Halloween movie since, is a pretty shitty movie. But I'll grant that Halloween 3 has a very memorable scene.
No. Was Halloween 3 supposed to be like a prequel to the Halloween films that like Mike?
No.
Myers...
So they were thinking about turning the Halloween series into an anthology. So they did Halloween 1 and 2, and they're like, okay, there's nowhere we can really go with this Michael Myers thing. That's done to death. So let's do something completely different, and then maybe the Halloween movies will be like an anthology. And so like next year will be a different story. But Halloween 3 ended up like performing poorly, and so they didn't make a sequel for a while, and then when they did, they were like, let's bring Michael Myers back. So Halloween 4 featured Michael Myers again.
Gotcha. And by the way, to the commenter, we are getting Burning Mill. I'm pretty sure we are. We're getting Burning Mill and all that jazz. But yeah, no, I feel as though, I don't know, like, does Ryan Condal really want to be that bold to have the kids awake while these guys are like, terrorizing them? You want to be that crazy? I don't know.
I mean, this is a guy who like cut open a woman alive with a C-section, and then
in the first episode, and
then traumatized the one character for the entire series.
Are you sure that was Condal and not Miguel Spachnik?
So you're saying Miguel Spachnik is like the real brains?
Possibly.
Well, we'll see. We'll see this season.
We'll see. Well, we kind of already know a good chunk of like what we can expect, and remember we read the mixed reviews. Despite House of the Dragon getting like glowing reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and so on and so forth, there were some mixed reviews, not bad reviews, but mixed in the sense where people liked the season, but they thought it meandered a little bit in the beginning. I personally liked it as a stage setter. It was fine.
Yeah, no, it's funny as I liked the meandering, but I'm a little weird,
Well, I also don't think a lot of those reviewers were book readers. You like the meandering because, you get to like do the Leo DiCaprio meme where he goes and he points, from once upon a time.
There's so many characters that we need to get back to, and we need to understand like where their mental state is. So, I liked all of that, but I'm a sucker for a good small council scene.
Oh, dude, those are the best.
Would Aemon get his own Kingsguard bodyguard? If they had enough of them, he should. If their job is to really, I mean, there's just not enough Kingsguard. Like in general, like you'd need more than 7 people to guard the king. Like it's a ridiculous idea that you'd only have 7 people. Because you need breaks. They're guarding more than one person. You're dedicating one to like protect the queen all day, and you're like, he can't do that. He has to sleep at some point. He's got to go to the bathroom. He's got to eat. You know, the Kingsguard should be like 40 dudes. It should not be 7
40 guys, Jesus.
to
I'm
protect the
trying
whole
to
royal
find.
family. You know,
Yeah, what's the historical equivalent of like the King's Guard? What is it? Is it like
like the Swiss
the
Guard that like protects the Pope. You know, maybe.
yeah, like yeah, where there was definitely more than 7. It was in like the tens. It was in the tens. The Varangian Guard, maybe? I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
They're more like an army, not really guard. Oh, who served as the personal bodyguards for the Byzantine emperors. How many were they? They filmed an army, so it was at least like a couple hundred. The Varangian Guard.
Mm.
How many?
Autistic people have delayed emotional processing. Helena was in shock. Hmm. Man, there's going to be. I mean, if this discussion is getting this heated in my chat, it's going to be fucking crazy on Twitter.
Oh
My
yeah,
God.
I'm not. I don't want. I'm not. I don't want to see that.
My God, like honestly,
I've
this
already
I
played
haven't-
with fire. I played with too much fire tonight. People are already angry at me.
I haven't seen
Oh,
someone play with
dang.
this much fire since Trey said that one thing about Elden Ring. I'm sorry, Trey.
People, they're still angry. They're still angry.
Fucking
I
getting
stand
death
by it.
threats. Getting death threats.
Well, people send me essays. Like they send me essays like why I'm wrong, and I'm just like, this is how I feel. I feel like I can
George
make
R.
that
Martin was
determination.
essential for the creation of Elden Ring. He did so much work.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. One of Preston's Kingsguard for his fanfic is a big Elden Ring guy and a big George R. R. Martin guy, and hopefully he'll come on sometime and
It's true.
tell
He did
you
do.
like
He
what
did.
he thinks.
He
Yeah.
did do a huge analysis of
Mhm.
Elden Ring and found a lot of parallels. However, like I say, like other writers might have put that in. We don't know if it was George R. R. Martin.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'll change my mind on it. It's just that like I'm not sure how much of it is just the studio, because if you see the other Souls games, like they have very very similar themes and very similar worlds. Like I don't know how. I don't know. People are really upset when I called it like Tolkien-esque. They're like, actually, the gods are like more abstract concepts and they don't interfere directly and stuff like that. So I guess it's more Lovecraftian, but like I don't know. I'll say like George doesn't even really write Lovecraftian world building that much either.
didn't
I don't
Jon
know.
Snow lynch a child? Yeah, it's true. Game of Thrones
Right.
had him hang a child, and they showed that. Hmm.
Oh.
Twitter's just a cesspool of people making fun of Alicent for Blood and Cheese. I mean, I don't think anything would
How
have
much of a
changed.
difference? How much of a difference would Kristen Cole would have made from the outside of the chamber? Because I saw like an interview. He was like, I was guarding the chamber or something, or supposed to guard the chamber. Like, really make that much of a difference?
I mean, if these guys are supposed to be able to kill Aemond, shouldn't they be able to kill Kristen Cole? I don't know, And isn't he the sworn? I don't know. He's sworn shield of. First of all, he's Lord Commander of the Kingsguard at this point. Should he be guarding the king? I didn't see anybody with the king. I mean, no Kingsguard. I saw him chilling with his bros, so he should have been down with the king. And then, I mean, I don't know where the other three Kingsguard are. Because there's only 4 at this point, right? Really, they should have picked 3 replacement Kingsguard for, Stefan Darklin and Eric Cargyle and stuff. But you can't just blame it all on Kristen Cole. He was pleasing the queen. He was given direct
Well,
orders.
why were there 0 guards? Like, not even just like House Targaryen guards or
Household
whatever.
guards. Like,
Yeah.
why is there just nobody in the fucking Red Keep? Like, so few guards. They're spending all their money maintaining the Grand Sept, or whatever they're doing. Like, how many people use the Grand Sept? Well, at peak hours, there's at least like 3 people in that thing. Like, why did we spend so much money on this Grand Sept that serves only like 3 people at a time? Maybe we should have spent our money on hiring Kingsguard.
I still think it's I had to rewatch the season 1 episode 10 with just to like refresh, and I still think it's funny that Stannis apparently like doesn't know that the painted table can be lit up with the candles.
Yeah, never lit it up. I think
It's
Kingsguard
cool.
is,
It's like I get it.
yes.
Okay.
7 is realistic if that 7 is solely 100% only dedicated to the king and no one else. Okay, that's fine. But we know that the Kingsguard keep getting loaned out, and they keep like leading armies in battle and shit. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, if it were 7 dudes who were just focused on the king, like, okay, we got 8-hour shifts. Some guys are in training, some guys are sleeping. Okay, like, you get the whole thing, right? Like, then maybe it would work. I could see 7 functioning. But the fact that they're making Kingsguard do other things is just unrealistic. Like, you just can't
Like
do
the
that.
like the idea that like Marcella has like wasted one of the Kingsguard on her. Like, why don't you just have like a whole bunch of trusted good Lannister guards? It's weird. It's very weird.
Right. I mean, she did get that
Yeah.
too, and they all kind of disappeared from the story, but we don't know where they are. But
In the show, yeah, you can see one Kingsguard going with Marcella to Dorne, and then they're all back. So
yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I looked it up. So like the personal bodyguard of like the Byzantine emperor, which I think is kind of what the Kingsguard is primarily based on, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like it was like 300 or 500 of them. So it was a bit more. It was a bit more than 7.
So this person says there's 3,200 Secret Service agents. Now, to be fair, like, not all Secret Service agents are dedicated to protecting the president. Like, some deal with counterfeiting and other things, but still, I guarantee there's more than 7 dedicated to the president. How many Secret Service agents are there? 3,200 special agents, 1,300 uniformed division officers, 2,000 technical, professional, administrative support. So maybe it's 1,300 uniformed division, but still, that's just, one with Alicent, one with Helene and the kids, 2 with the king, 1 with Aemond, and 2 deserters with Cargill and a Westerling. But Westerling left, so that leaves 6, and I don't know if they've replaced him. And we know that Rhaenyra has 3, so there should only be 3 Kingsguard right now. So we don't know if it's Fell or if it's Thorn, but there should, unless they should really be naming more Kingsguard, but really there'd be 3 right now unless they've replaced them. 3 in the Red Keep,
and 1 with Alicent, but like nobody was guarding Alicent's door either, because Helena just burst on in. Nobody stopped her.
Well, that was I guess it was supposed to be Cole.
But Cole was supposed to be on duty with Helena and the kids, according to an interview.
Well, that's stupid.
So I guess. So just nobody's guarding anything. Everybody's just open doors. Okay. All right.
All right, guys. Thank you for being with me. Thank you, everyone, for staying with me. An interesting first episode. I will not be here next week, so I'm going to miss episode 2 and doing the stream with episode 2. So very sad, very sad. But
Dang.
yes, busy Preston. But I don't even know if I have enough time to put together videos. People are gonna be so angry that there's not going to be a Chad video like probably this week, unless I like somehow eke it out tomorrow. But I don't think that's happening. But we'll see. It'll probably all have to wait. I'll have to wait. People are going to be upset, but oh well. But thank you, Trey. Thank you, Carmine, for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Of course.
and we'll talk to you guys. Not next week, but the week after, hopefully. All right, sounds good. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.